It's just now. Xiao Ruoyu and others speculated. The reason why Chen Yuan spent money on himself. I just think they have the potential to become workers. Not like them. Suddenly, they all started to speculate in unison. Whether Chen Yuan likes himself or not. Xiao Ruoyu looked the same as herself. A few others who were lost in thought. He couldn't help but mutter. A few of them estimated that they were about the same as I thought. But at such times, hesitation will fail. Immediately, Xiao Ruoyu put on a deserving appearance. Kill the troops and rob the railroads. I don't know who Chen Yuan likes. He may be liked by everyone. It's also possible that everyone doesn't like it. As soon as the words fell, the faces of Zhao Yuqi and the others changed in an instant. The feeling of gaining and losing immediately came to my heart. Followed by, Xiao Ruoyu said with a firm face, even if Chen Yuan is a scumbag, before he made his choice, I will always be there for him. Xiao Ruoyu had already made a mistake once. You can't make a second mistake. Xiao Ruoyu's statement. Immediately, Zhao Yuqi and the three fell silent. In the middle, their faces instantly became unsightly. Just when the atmosphere became awkward, Shen Shui on the side suddenly clapped her hands and interrupted. Let's not talk about it for now. Speaking of which, Shen Shui also published a little. Own point of view. I think women still focus on their careers. The only one who can really rely on it is yourself. As long as you are strong and good enough. Naturally, someone will take you seriously. As soon as this remark came out, the girls suddenly realized, youth is short-lived. It is very important to promote yourself. They couldn't help but think the same thing, yes. Let's do it. The person who can best help Chen Yuan make money will be the one who will accompany him to the end. Meanwhile, today Lin Shutong also works at the Jin Mao Tower. A little quack suddenly appeared and said hello. Tale number 8917, surnamed Lin. Please help me pick up the courier. Then Lin Shutong took out the courier. Smile and say your courier at this time. Need help taking it apart? That's when it happened. The female colleague on the side suddenly exclaimed, the news of the scholar today is too exciting. High-hanging silver was announced at the press conference. It is necessary to invest 100 billion yuan to build a film and television city. It was on the top of the hot search in half an hour. News of the stars. It is very far away for Lin Shutong. He couldn't help but groan with a beautiful airway. Just scolded that female star a while ago. He only paid 100 billion. Bragging rights. The female colleague explained with a grin. Of course, there is a financier behind him. Is a mysterious tyrant. It seems to be called Mr. Yin. As soon as the words fell, Lin Shutong, who was helping Xiao Gaga unpack the express. Suddenly, it was like being struck by lightning. Even the knife accidentally cut the finger. The female colleague was adoring and excited. Mr. Yin not only invested 100 billion yuan to build a film and television city. It is also said that Big Cat TV was acquired. But it's going to end strongly. Rich people are really capricious. When it comes to Mr. Yin, Xiao Gaga on the side immediately joined the chat. Is it really Mr. Yin? I watched a live stream once. I was lucky enough to see him smash 1,000 rockets. It's terrible. The female colleague nodded frantically, yes. It's him. You're so lucky. We ordinary people, usually I don't think it's anything. Chance to meet a rich man like them. Lin Shutong has already been beaten by this brother at this time. The news was full of shocks. Dust is far away and dust is far away. He actually invested 100 billion this time. Then Lin Shutong's heart was like a knife. 10,000 arrows pierced the heart. A look of despair and despondency. He secretly mourned and said, what exactly am I missing? At this time, the Magic City World Financial Center, on top of one of the most prosperous skyscrapers, a man suddenly lowered the water glass in his hand. Throw it top of the high-hanging photo. I saw a fair-skinned person, a young man of about 27 or 18 years old. Zheng said with an angry face, How can this be reasonable? It's this Yinzhua again. Is he intent on opposing me? I don't allow the studio to cooperate with Gao Xiaoning. He actually chose to build a new film and television base. It's a slap in the face. That's when it happened. A look. Stature. The best beautiful secretary, who almost exceeded 9 points. After walking in, he hurriedly bent down to pick up the glass shards on the ground. At the same time, reassuring Dao Xiao, you will dissipate your anger first. I've had people inquire about him. After talking about the female secretary, he began to carefully give the glass shards on the ground. Clean up. Looking at the high-hanging photo, the man suddenly groaned. Is this your backer? It was he who helped you bring down Wang, Hu, and Fang Jingyuan. It's a pity that they're just 2 dogs I have. After speaking, the man suddenly got up, slowly walked to the floor-to-ceiling window next to it. The man then stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. From 80-story high-rise buildings, overlooking the crowd at your feet. Great filial piety has been laid out in Bariga, China for many years. After all, what Burigamo has a crush on his mind? The man played the game at home for 3 days. Even the beautiful school girl personally came to serve him. Just now, Li Jiamu, who is an old drama in the film and television industry, after being stirred up by Mr. Yin 3 times and twice, it was decided to start doing something to him. What made Li Jiamu strange was that, what the hell is this Yin Zong? Dare to speak wildly. It is necessary to spend 100 billion yuan to build a film and television city. Which side of the force is he? And the female secretary will report after some investigation. I asked a few other talented families. There doesn't seem to be Mr. Yin. Li Jiamu heard this. Couldn't help frowning slightly. That's strange. Where did his assets come from? It can't fall from the sky. The female secretary slammed into Li Jiamu's face. Filial piety Li Shaolin. Don't worry about what he's been doing all along. It's just that he's jealous. This man is just a big man. But Li Jiamu raised his eyebrows and said a big deal. Is that your conclusion? The naive me Li Jia is deeply ingrained in the film and television industry. My divine film and television base is even more unique. On resources, on connections. In terms of wealth, he is no match for us at all. Speaking of which, Li Jiamu suddenly approached the female secretary. Analyzed, I think he's fully aware of his weaknesses, since he dares to argue with me. It shows that he already has a plan. I guess his true purpose. It's not a film and television base at all. Followed by, Li Jiamu grabbed the female secretary's chin violently. The Cold County Island film and television base is a disguise. What he really wants to do is real estate. Wenyin's female secretary hurriedly insisted that Li Shaolin was right. Then should I send someone to check this swallow? Total real background. Immediately, Li Jiamu nodded. With a serious face, you go and check. Within 3 days. I want to get the details of this person. I'd like to see who this cigarette is. In high-hanging silver. After announcing the matter of investing in a film and television base, 3 days passed in a flash. Chen Yuan has been quite at ease these days. He just lay at home and did nothing. And Su Lele has been wearing him for a short time. Chen Yuan, who was concentrating on playing the game, won again. I accidentally hit the invincible god of war. He was happy to see Chen Yuan win again. I was so excited all of a sudden. Brother Yuan won again. Chen Yuan saw this. I couldn't help but be lazy and open my mouth. You've been taking care of me for 3 days. I play games every day. Don't you have any comments? After speaking, Chen Yuan couldn't help but murmur secretly in his heart. Cooking every day for 3 days. Cleaning. Make me soup. Wash my clothes. In all fairness, my own mother didn't take such care of me. The cuisines are not the same. Let's change the tricks. Su Lele raised his eyebrows when he heard this. Egg smiled and said that this is your home. You can do whatever you want. Why should I have an opinion? Dusty eyes couldn't help but suppress. Then you won't feel it. I'm not self-motivated and deadly. Su Lele suddenly gave a thumbs up. Praise it. How could it be? You only scored 700 points on the ladder the other day. Today, it has reached 9,800 points. I've never met a more motivated man than you. As soon as I heard this, Chen Yuan was suddenly a little embarrassed. In the heart of the secret groove, don't you women hate men's games the most? I'm gonna die like this. You can even get praise. It's really drunk. But I stayed at home for a few days. Chen Yuan really couldn't sit still. Get ready to get up and head out. Sulu was happy to see that Chen Yuan didn't plan to start the next game. Instead, he walked out the door, hurriedly asked Brother Dao Yuan if he wanted to go out. Can I go with you? Chen Yuan shook his head. Refused to talk about business. Not very convenient. Su Leilei's words did not continue to entangle. The very enlightened by Shoudao is like this. Be careful on that road. He understands that what men care about most is personal space. Being too clingy will only give them a sense of oppression. Let them alienate you at the thought of this. Su Leilei couldn't help but secretly rejoice. Silent mission drama like mine is king. This is my unique advantage. Wait for my brother to get used to me being around. He won't be able to live without me. Su Leilei finished cooking for Chen Ren every time. Or tidy up the house. We'll leave very consciously. Once or twice a while. We'll also play games in a double row with Chen Yuan. A few days down, Su Leilei's status in Chen Ren's mind. It did go up quite a bit. After all, it's about kindness. Su Leilei has never lost. Fried and fried. The man actually wants to invest 100 billion into one. The backwoods are just now. The employees of Xuanying Film and Television Group looked at the fanfare. Drum crew. Without discussion, I didn't discuss what happened today. Are there any activities? I don't know. Someone seems to be coming. I heard that the investors of our company are coming today. Even Mr. Gao personally came down to greet the investors. That's not the one I said at the press conference the other day. Mr. Yin. Not much. A Rolls-Royce Phantom was parked in suspense. In front of the door of the film and television group. Gao Xining immediately smiled. When Chen Yuan arrived by car, the entire Xuanying Film and Television Group, more than 50 employees have gathered. All of them stood in unison at the door of the company. Gao Xining hurriedly walked towards Chen Yuan. At the same time, I was excited to Mr. Yin. You're finally here. Was held by Gao Xining's arm in public. Chen Yuan couldn't help but be a little restrained to Gao Xining. You're a big star too. It was too high profile to come down and pick me up in person. And Gao Xining smiled lightly. But our investors, this etiquette still needs to be there. Then Gao Xining posted it without sticking it. Chen Yuan secretly had no enemy in his heart. Recently, I feel that Chen Yuan has become more and more pleasing to the eye. I always feel very safe around him. I seem to really like him. That's when it happened. The little quacks lined up neatly at the door. Suddenly, they shouted in unison. In the total force of the business. Xuanying Film and Television Company guided the inspection. Build a high hanging. In order to meet the scene that he made, Chen Yuan suddenly raised his eyebrows. Dao, this battle is a bit big. Did you arrange these two? It's too high profile. Not next time. As soon as this remark came out, Gao Xining hurriedly stroked his hair. Put on a well-behaved appearance and be clear and clear. You like to keep a low profile. Looked at Chen Yuan's expression of great enjoyment. Gao Hanging couldn't help but complain secretly in his heart. Stinky men are so hypocritical. I obviously think it's very cool. Then Chen Yuan was led by Gao Xining. Entered a conference room. In the conference room, except for Chen Yuan, a full 5 people gathered. After he took his seat, Xiao Gaga on the stage hurriedly spoke. Today's meeting. The main thing is to be sure. Let's take it next. The approximate location of the project. Subsequently, Little Gaga, with a stroke on the map, said I suggest yes. The site is located in a first-tier city. It is easy to attract partners with more talents. It can drive the development of the surrounding area. Hangin Wenyan couldn't help frowning. I gave my opinion. The price of first-line land is too high. Since it's going to take the film and television city, why bother with the first line? I think some second and third lines are also more suitable. Yang Si-jin shook his head. The opening road flies and flies. I think it's more suitable in Shenanjia. Get closer to nature. Framing is also more convenient. Then the three of them suddenly looked at Chen Yuan in unison. One voice said in unison, Mr. Yin, which plan do you think is better? As soon as this remark came out, Chen Yuan was immediately confused and asked me what I was doing. Does my idea matter? Gao Xining nodded firmly. Smile gently, of course. You are an investor. It's you who make the final decision. Essentially, it's all for you. And Chen Yuan thought for a moment, directly shook his head and said, okay. I make a decision. I don't think any of these three options will work. And then, Chen Yuan casually held a corner of the map. Draw a circle. Let's just choose this place. Little Quack saw this. I was immediately confused. This is Tianmen City. The place is remote. And there is no airport, no university. There's no potential for growth. Chen Yuan, on the other hand, showed a smug smile. It's because it doesn't have potential. So the land here is very cheap. We can make big plans. As soon as this remark came out, the crowd below, I couldn't help but start talking. I think what Mr. Yin said makes sense. He spends his money as much as he likes. But the gate of heaven is too biased. Could it be that Mr. Yin has any other considerations? His business vision should be longer than ours. Dust is far away. I can't help but secretly compare it in my heart. My hometown is in Tianmen. I don't know what the gate of heaven is like. The 100 billion is stipulated. It doesn't work for me to say that Jesus is coming. Chen Yuan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. No way. The possibilities for your project to make money are too great. I want the kind that spends money and spends a lot. If you make money, you can't spend it. The more you spend, the better. When I think of me, Chen Yuan immediately turned around sharply. Sitting in the boss's chair, he clapped and decided. 100 billion yuan will be invested in Tianmen City. Men made one after another in the company under their hands. All sorts of big choices. And his ultimate goal is to be ruthless. Just now, Chen Yuan, at an important meeting of Xuanying Group, actually made a direct decision. He wants to build the film and television city in his hometown Tianmen City. After the meeting, a lot of Xuanying, the group's executives inadvertently remarked, I thought it would be open until the early hours of the morning. I didn't expect it to end so soon. It's the first time I've had such a quick meeting in more than 10 years on the job. I always feel that we are not talking about a 100 billion deal. It's 1,000 pieces. Is this smoke a genius or a devil? It's really hard to see. Chun Yi came to Xuanying Film and Television Company. It was only a few dozen minutes. On the issue of the location of the Traction Film and Television City. That's it. Chen Yuan walked out of Xuanying Film and Television Company. I didn't secretly feel proud. As long as they choose Tianmen City, I will definitely lose it all. I can continue to add funds. The plan was perfect. That's when it happened. Zhao Yuqi suddenly made a video call to Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan was not stunned when he saw this. It's not a voice call, it's a video call. In Chen Yuan, the video was connected. After the call, Zhao Yuqi hurriedly said, Chen Yuan, I told you before that I wanted to discuss recruitment. Are you ready for a conference call? Then Zhao Yuqi suddenly suppressed it. How are you on the street? Saw Chen Yin wandering around on the street. Zhao Yuqi couldn't help frowning slightly. You won't forget about it at all. Chen Yin immediately laughed. Hurriedly explained how it could be. Ha! I don't think the outside signal is better. After fooling around, Shin couldn't help but muttered secretly in his heart. I almost forgot about it. And Zhao Yuqi. Suddenly, he said with a serious face, okay. Then I'll cut it short. Because of the press conference, a lot of people are starting to pay attention to our Big Cat TV. But at the moment we have a problem. Speaking of this, Zhao Yuqi suddenly frowned. The income of the anchor needs to be shared with the live broadcast platform. At present, the mainstream platform is divided into 5:5. The darker is 3:7. I think we big cat should be a platform for conscience. I also hope to set it at 6:4. This is also more attractive to anchors. Zhao Yuqi himself has been an anchor, and he's also a gift streamer, so it's very capable. Experienced the hard work of an anchor. So he wanted to be a platform of conscience in Zhao Yuqi's proposal. However, it was opposed by other management. The experienced management of the company believes it's too much of a loss for the company to be divided into this way. Operational costs will increase. Chen Yuan also suddenly said at this time, we believe that a 5:5 split is sufficient. If further concessions, in the long run, the company will inevitably suffer serious losses. This is the experience and the lesson. As soon as I heard the word loss, Chen Yuan's face changed dramatically in an instant, and so on. What did you just say? Do you mean a loss? Chen Yuan saw this. Couldn't help but show a smug look. Again, he said yes. Big cats are in a state of loss. In the event of further losses, the funding gap will be significant, and this makes ordinary people. I find it difficult to deal with the funding gap. Not so far as Chen Yuan is concerned. He secretly rejoiced. It's too good to lose money. I just like to lose money. Immediately afterwards, Chen Yuan laughed. Let's be decisively poured towards the phone. 82 Branch 2 Anchor 8. We want to be a platform for conscience. How can you not be a woman? As soon as this remark came out, everyone in the entire conference room was instantly stunned. Give the anchor 8% of the income. There is not a single one in the world. Live streaming companies dare to do this. Seeing that the scene fell silent, Chen Yuan put on a holy appearance. I said I have a big. It is to be the world's #1 live broadcast platform. Let all the girls who want to be anchors can change fate. Take a long-term view. After speaking, Chen Yuan suddenly pretended to be deep and serious. What is this little prophet in front of you? We'll use this divide. Seize the market in the shortest possible time. I need you in the shortest possible time. Seize the market quickly. In the current fragmented market, fight your way out. Don't worry about money. I have. After speaking, Chen Yuan suddenly said with a serious face. That's all I have to say. Who is for and against? Chen Yuan's words instantly let the entire meeting room management, all speechless, but none of them dared to object. Not long after Chen Yuan hung up the phone, Zhao Yuqi's mobile phone. Suddenly, a text message prompt rang. It's a 1. Received a notification for the arrival of 5 billion transfers. Looking at the sudden arrival information, Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but suppress. Is it so fast that 5 billion will be called? And Chen Yuan was before and after the fight. I can't help but put up a smug smile, and it's right. It's all a hard loss to me. You can only get a hard cashback if you lose it to me. The man just gave it to Zhao Yu casually. She invested 50 billion. But I didn't expect it. Zhao Yuqi actually took the initiative to confess to him, and also called him a husband. Just now, Zhao Yuqi looked at the arrival information of 50 billion. I was immediately confused. Chen Yuan actually called me 5 billion. The company's executives were stunned when they saw Zhao Yuqi looking at the phone. Couldn't help but be depressed to Mr. Zhao. Why are you suddenly stunned? And Zhao Yuqi was smiling and drinking coffee. But with a smile, Mr. Yin called me 50 billion just now. As soon as this remark came out, the audience was shocked. Everyone couldn't help but think of agreeing at the same time. That's where the money comes in. Or 5 billion. The company's executives couldn't help but secretly can't help but be unopposed. I thought the boss was a little girl. Companies should have a tough time doing business. I didn't expect people to directly make a. And shun. She couldn't help but howl secretly in her heart. Although I knew that smoke always had strength, I didn't expect it to be this kind of strength. I was really blinded by lard to provoke him. Fortunately, adults don't remember villains. Zhao Yuqi was pleased. But there are some doubts in my heart. Chen Yuan's ideas are wild. Seems absurd. But it showed me a path that I had never had before. What a genius. But why didn't the money go to the company's corporate account? It's just for me. But this one of his doubts. But he didn't ask Chen Yuan directly at the meeting. Funds arrived. Chen Yuan's instructions. And it went smoothly. Zhao Yuqi thought for a moment. I couldn't help but secretly rejoice that I understood. He must have been afraid that I would be too young to convince the public. The money is in my hands. It's up to me to distribute. They have to look at my face. Obey me unconditionally. Come to think of this. Zhao Yuqi. I couldn't help but sigh secretly with a look of adoration. He thought it so carefully. It's really gentle. I'm going to cry to death. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan suddenly had a clever wit. I suddenly remembered the 51 just now should have hit Chairman Zhao in the company's corporate account, just as Chen Yuan frowned. When I was thinking about how to remedy it, his phone rang suddenly. As soon as you turn on your phone, I saw a message that made Chen Yuan's amount of money. Thank you, Chen Yuan, for seeing this title. I was almost scared that my phone fell off. He couldn't help but look strange to Chairman Zhao. What's going on? Suddenly he confessed. Is it because of the 5 billion just now? Immediately, Chen Yuan began to secretly get excited. That's 5 billion worth it. Try to spend money on me. Give me a hard loser. Wait until you've lost all the money. If you fail to start a business, you will be depressed. The more dependent I am on this when I think about it. Chen Yuan began to look forward to it. When the time comes, there may be a chance to break through 100 perfect points of opinion. Has Chen Yuan behind his back? Zhao Yuqi walked out of the conference room, immediately full of confidence to all colleagues. Just now, our investors give it to us. The division hit 50 billion. The money. That's our strategy for the next period of time. As soon as the funds came out, the employees of the company were shocked. Confidence in your company has never been greater. Followed by, Zhao Yuqi waved his hand and announced that from today onwards, the company officially launched the 997 work system. Everyone's salary doubled. The year-end bonus is doubled. Give me a good job. Speaking of this, Zhao Yuqi suddenly raised his eyebrows. After a lap of the ring, speak again and ask if you have faith. Let the big cat be the first in the industry. As soon as this remark came out, the entire company was instantly stunned. This includes a benefit package. They don't even dare to dream about it. Then the crowd began to boil. Crazy nodding firm to the point that we have friends and we are confident. See this scenario. Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but fold her arms. The secret road in my heart is far away. I won't let you down. Don't let Big Cat TV cast brilliance. Soon it was getting late. Chen Yuan, who was bored in every way, returned to the community. His licking dog object. Now it's all in a busy state. When I got home, I looked at the empty house. Chen Yuan couldn't help but suppress the situation. Lele is not there. Just as he walked into the living room, I saw a note on the coffee table. Then Chen Yuan picked up the note. There is no secret enemy. Is this what Su Lele left me? After opening the note, immediately saw the message left by Su Lele. Brother Bien has something to go home today. Dinner is up to you. It's coming, it's coming. Man on his way home. I ran into an old acquaintance who had changed a lot. Just now, Chen Yuan had just returned home. Found the note Su Lele left for him. Chen Yuan looked at the note. Without frowning, I want to catch it. Su Lele is interesting. First, under the guise of taking care of me. Cooked for me for days on end. It makes me feel dependent. The more Slam pulls away, makes me uncomfortable. Chen Yuan had to admit it. Su Lele's diligent dedication during this time. It really made him fall before he knew it. However, Chen Yuan suddenly smiled lightly. Although I know he's scheming. But I can't hate it. This may be where Su Lele is great. In the past, when evening came, there will always be a lot of girls who message him. or ask him out to the movies and go shopping or something. But tonight it was quiet. It seems that all the dog-licking objects have been collectively discussed. It's the same as not contacting Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan couldn't help but sigh secretly. It's been a long time since I've been so alone. I want to go home and check it out. I don't know how my parents are doing. Thinking of this Xuanying. Immediately, I bought a train ticket online at hand. I started boarding the train home. It didn't take long for Chen Yuan to return to Tianmen station smoothly. In order not to cause some unnecessary trouble, Chen Yuan felt that it was better to take the train home. After arriving at Tianmen South Station, Chen Yuan took another turn. It took a few more hours of hard sitting before I got home. After getting off the bus, Chen Yuan couldn't help but muttered secretly, "It's finally here. I didn't feel so hard to go home before." Come to think of this, Chen Yuan couldn't help but be angry. Could it be that I've been living too much lately? Is it comfortable? Then Chen Yuan dragged his suitcase and walked home. At the same time, the secret enemy does not fall. It's a pity that I can't drive a Rolls-Royce back to the village and pretend to be forced. Otherwise, my parents would have asked me, "Is it an inverted door for others?" Chen Yuan hasn't gone far yet. A luxury car drove slowly, and a voice of greeting came out, "Chen Yuan. It's you, boy." Onching Chen Yuan couldn't help but look for prestige. I saw a familiar face come into view. He muttered to himself, "Isn't this the right mark? My elementary school classmates." Saw. On the luxury car is a fat man with a face full of meat. He said with a black face that he hadn't seen in so many years, "You're still white. Are you still studying? Did you pronounce any names?" Chen Yuan nodded lightly. "I went to school in Seoul. Take a trip home when you're on vacation." As soon as this remark came out, Zheng Biao immediately greeted him warmly. "Get in the car and take you to a long experience." As soon as he got into the car, the adult immediately shocked Zheng Biao. "Is this your car? You're all on the Mercedes." Zheng Biao Wenyin immediately looked high-spirited. Began to pretend to be crazy to force Zheng Biao to call me Brother Biao. "You say you've been reading books for so many years. It's know-it-all. I'm doing live streaming now. There are many gardens that sell seafood." Chen Yuan hurriedly gave 2 thumbs up. "Praise for such a cow. Button, you're amazing." Zheng Biao suddenly looked so happy that ha ha ha. "It's SOSO. My brother used to say that I was inferior to you. Now I'll really show him who is really promising." And yet at this moment, a girl from the neighborhood suddenly walked to the side of the road, appeared in front of the eyes of the two. This woman is about 1.67 meters, wearing a dress. He has a double ponytail on his head. The eyes of the two were immediately drawn to him. The woman's eyes were round and large. The watery one seemed to glow. His face. I didn't wear a trace of makeup at all. Pure makeup can still be picturesque. Pink carved jade bracelet. Bright eyes and bright teeth. The country is beautiful and fragrant. Xuanying couldn't help but say with some uncertainty, "Is this Wang Mengmeng?" And Zheng Biao almost drooled when he stared at Wang Mengmeng. Lao Wang's best friend is getting more and more smart. The girls in the big city are not as beautiful as her. If only I could be my girlfriend, he. Subsequently, Zheng Biao parked the car directly in front of Wang Mengmeng, ready to start wanting to install a wave of forks. I didn't expect it. Wang Mengmeng's attention. It all fell on Chen Yuan. "Brother Yuan, you're back. You've gotten taller and more handsome." Blew up. The man had just returned home. Found out about my father. Actually eloped with the aunt in the village. Just now, Chen Yuan was on his way home. Unexpectedly met an old acquaintance, Wang Mengmeng. Looking at the long comparison, Xiao Ryu and others want to be good-looking Wang Mengmeng. Chen Yuan couldn't help but muttered secretly. It's really the 18 changes of the female university. It's only been a few years. Wang Mengmeng's appearance is comparable to a genetic mutation. Chen Yuan couldn't help but look at it more and more. What's even rarer? This Nizi is completely clear water out of hibiscus. unlike all the girls I've seen before. Then Chen Yuan got down directly from the Mercedes-Benz. Then reach out, touched Wang Mengmeng's little head. Cheer up, Mengmeng. It's all grown so big. Have you finished your homework? Wang Mengmeng couldn't help but say brother Chen Yuan in a beautiful way when he heard this. Everyone has already graduated from high school. No more homework. And I'm not a little girl anymore. You can't touch my head. That's when it happened. Zheng Biao suddenly interrupted. Mengmeng is getting more and more watery. Just follow brother Biao, and let me be my wife. There is no use for studying fart. Follow brother Biao to eat and drink spicy food. Wang Mengmeng heard this. Immediately, he glanced at Zheng Biao with some annoyance. I don't want it. You're not my type. Too fat. Zheng Biao, on the other hand, showed a hungry and thirsty expression. I can lose weight for you. As soon as the words fell, Wang Mengmeng immediately frowned slightly and said angrily, You're too old. It's all 22, and walks away. The old thing, however, is at this moment. Chen Yuan's system suddenly remembered the prompt. Operation Dog Licking begins. Name, Wang Mengmeng. Height 167 centimeters. Weight 50 kilograms. Appearance 9.5 points. The girl has a 30 opinion of the host. After binding the dog-licking relationship, the woman has over 95 opinion of the host. And to achieve a counterattack, the other party will become the host. Licking the dog counterattack rewards 35 enhancement points. Master and singing proficient. The girl's initial liking is too high. Dog-licking relationship binding failed. And Wang Mengmeng, who was entangled by the certificate, couldn't help but look at Chen Yuan helplessly. But Chen Yuan heard the prompt that the binding failed. Immediately, he secretly said in his heart with a confused face, What's going on? The binding failed. Didn't expect the system. The evaluation of Wang Mengmeng's appearance is so high. Is it because it is unpolished? It reached a staggering 9.5 points. This is among all the girls Chen Yuan has met. The most beautiful. It's a pity that such a high appearance can't be bound. Xuanying, Chen Yuan frowned. The secret enemy can't be tied up because the favorability is too high. Then reduce the favorability. I'm the best at this one. Chen Yi walked to Zheng Biao's side. Put it on his shoulder and say dream. How do you speak? Brother Biao sees that you are giving you face. Don't give a face to shame and have a fart to read. You see, Brother Biao is now driving a big run. Do you want to stay in this place for the rest of your life? Do you want to be a village girl? As soon as this remark came out, Wang Mengmeng's eyes changed instantly when he looked at Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan's face is condescending. It really shocked him. Immediately, the system remembered the prompt. Wang Mengmeng's good impression is reduced by time. Zheng Biao saw that Chen Yuan actually spoke for himself. Immediately, he smiled and said yes. Chen Yuan, you are really my good brother. Speak all the things in my heart. The positive mark is not passed. In a good mood, he secretly said to Chen Yuan, this kid, I went out and practiced for a few years. Emotional intelligence has become higher. Our college student's amazing. It's not like to shout Lao Su Brother Biao. But Wang Mengmeng looked incredulous to Brother Chen Yuan. How do you do this? Zheng Biao used to be, or other boys in the village. When teasing him, Chen Yuan, as a neighbor, will also fight for him. Therefore, does he have a good impression of Chen Yuan? Treat him as the big brother next door. But who knew that Chen Yuan had changed? It became so unbearable. Immediately, I thought of Wang Mengmeng's good impression of do one after another. Tips for short-term time. Then the system prompts again. The current goodwill do 0-point licking dog relationship is successfully bound. Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly rejoice. Although some not-so-nice things were said, also made his image a little obscene. But none of that matters. Bind Wang Mengmeng. This wave is not a loss. That's when it happened. Wang Mengmeng suddenly turned around, running away from here with red eyes. Showed a particularly aggrieved look, crying Chen Yuan, I hate you. Seeing this, Wu Chun scratched his head. In my heart, I was secretly proud that I was sorry for the dream. It's really too tempting to strengthen the point, and it won't be long enough. Chen Yuan said goodbye to Zhengbiao and then returned to the door. I couldn't help shouting excitedly to my parents, "I am back!" But Chen Yuan found that the door of his house was actually locked. He couldn't help but feel a little strange. How locked this gate? Not at home. What's going on? That's when it happened. A figure suddenly appeared outside the door. Greeted Chen Yuan to Chen Yuan. "Chen Yuan, don't shout. Come over here. I'll tell you something." Wenxing Chen Yuan couldn't help but feel a little confused. Is it Aunt Luo next door? Immediately, he walked towards the gate. My colleague wondered what was going on. Aunt Luo. And Aunt Luo reminded with a mysterious face. "You've been late. Let's go out and avoid the limelight. Don't go home. You're in trouble." Chunrin was stunned when he heard this. What's the matter? Is there going to be a demolition in the village? Is there going to be a forced demolition of my house? Aunt Luo immediately didn't have a good breath. What are you dreaming about? The village demolition which round gets your home. Read fewer novels. Your father and Wang Mengmeng's mother. It's your Aunt Tang. The two of them eloped and are now boiling. Your mother went straight back to her parents' house in a fit of rage. Blew up. The object of the man's binding is actually his own sister. Just now, Chen Yuan had just returned home. I learned from Aunt Luo. His father eloped with Wang Mengmeng's mother. Talked about Chen Yuan's father's elopement. Aunt Luo immediately recalled, this is all your father. Debt to the romance. Your father, Aunt Tang's first love. The two have had a good relationship since childhood. It is an enviable pair. But your Aunt Tang's family thinks your father is poor. Disagree with their marriage. Break up a loving couple. Aunt Tang married Uncle Queen. But after Wang Mengmeng was born, everyone said he didn't look like Uncle Queen. In time, Uncle Queen had a pimple in his heart. Later, the Queen's uncle went to the hospital for a paternity test. Found that Wang Mengmeng was indeed not his master. After speaking, Aunt Luo whispered again after the incident in the east window. As a result, your father eloped directly with Aunt Tang. Now it's all right. It's a real hammer. After listening to the front tone consequences, Chen Yuan was really shocked. What and what? My dad actually eloped with Aunt Tang. That's a lot better than me being a sea king. Subsequently, Chen Yuan couldn't help but look incredulous. Is Wang Mengmeng my sister? And Aunt Luo nodded and said, it should be probably. 9 times out of 10, that's probably the case. At this time, Chen Yuan was completely shocked. So, I just bound my own sister. I even pounced on him to tie him up. How can there be such a bloody plot? Come to think of this. Chen Yuan immediately gave himself a big ear scrape. At the same time, I blamed myself for being such an iron tree. Seeing this, Aunt Luo hurriedly dissuaded her. Oops. Xuanying, don't do this. This is an immoral thing that your father has done. Don't punish yourself. Hearing this, Chen Yuan stopped, then wiped the ketchup from the corner of his mouth. Immediately afterwards, Chen Yuan walked towards the outside of the house. Bai Shoudao, I'm fine, Aunt Luo, don't worry about me. And Aunt Luo looked at Chen's distant figure. I can't help but say really. Xuanying, don't do anything stupid. Seeing that Chen Yuan did not speak, Aunt Luo couldn't help but shake her head. Sai Shidao Xuanying, this kid is good at everything. It's just too rigid. The sense of morality is too strong. You will definitely suffer in the future. And Chen Yuan secretly decided in his heart at this time. Since Wang Mengmeng is my own sister, then I'm going to protect him. Zheng Biao, this dog thing, don't want to touch a hair of him. On the other side, Wang Mengmeng returned home. I started doing the housework. He couldn't help but work as he could. One side can't defeat this dusty distance. I went out to study for a few years. How did it become this virtue? Will I be like this when I go to college? When I think of me, Wang Mengmeng couldn't help but recall what Zheng Biao said. Isn't it really useless to study? And yet at this moment, The door was kicked open. At the same time, there was a roar of anger. Where are they all dead? There are no people. I saw the drunk old king. He walked towards the house. He scolded and scolded what a bullshit life. After Xuanying's elopement in the Tang Canal, and his heart was as dead as ashes. And Mengmeng, after seeing Wang Jila, couldn't help frowning slightly. Dad, what are you doing? Drink like this in broad daylight. After hearing Mengmeng shouting to give up, Wang Jila immediately abandoned his heart, only because of the in-store display. Mengmeng is not related to him. Immediately afterwards, Wang Jila slapped him with a backhand. Slapped Mengmeng's face fiercely. Who's your dad? Lao Tzu is not your father. In the past 18 years, Wang Jila has never done anything to Mengmeng. Daughters are all sweethearts. Pounce on the boy, and you can be beaten casually. Now he has fists and kicks against Mengmeng. That's when it happened. Chen Yuan, who arrived in time, suddenly drank so loudly that he stopped. Don't fight. Wang Jila saw Chen Yuan as soon as he saw it. Immediately gritted his teeth, and it was you, Jiamu. As soon as I heard this, Chen Yuan immediately muttered secretly in his heart, does this recognize me as my dad? Looks like I didn't drink less. Then Wang Jila let go of Mengmeng. Then he walked towards the scythe on the ground. Immediately afterwards, Wang Jila picked up the sickle, rushed towards Chen Yuan. This fierce and vicious look. It's really chilling. The pent-up anger and grievance in his chest. It seems that all of a sudden I have found a direction for catharsis. The man, in order to clean up the mess left by his father. I actually plan to use my savings to settle it. Just now, Lao Wang, who has been green for more than 10 years after seeing Chen Yuan, immediately, he picked up the sickle and prepared to use him to vent his anger. Seeing that Chen Yuan was about to be cut by Lao Wang, Mengmeng immediately shouted Chen Yuan with a shocked face. Be careful and get out of the way. Meanwhile, Lao Wang leaped up sharply, cut it out with a knife. He was forced to face Chen Yuan's head. Hack down. At the same time, he yelled to relieve his hatred. Chen Jiamu, your dog is miscellaneous. Go to the king of Hades. Lao Wang had no intention of showing mercy to his subordinates. He's just a man who has lost his mind now, and feel that there is no loveless man. But Chen Yuan was not afraid at all. After all, he had faced 8 bandits before. Can easily deal with it. Lao Wang's knife is very fierce, but Chen Yuan was even more fierce. And it's lightning fast. Grab him by the wrist directly. I saw that Chen Yuan did not retreat and counterattacked. In a flash, he used a standard set of grappling techniques. It was easy to subdue Lao Wang. Lao Wang immediately began to struggle desperately. But it still didn't help. He had no choice but to shout at Chen Jiamu incompetently. Let go of me. I'm going to kill you. Chen Yuan couldn't help frowning when he heard this. Then he hurriedly whispered in Lao Wang's ear. Uncle Wang, you're not young. Shouting and killing all day long. I'm not afraid to flash my waist. I'm not Chen Jiamu. I'm Chen Yuan. Lao Wang Wenyin didn't give up. Are you Chen Yuan? It's all the same, little bunny. You're going to kill me if you have a kind. Otherwise, your whole family will wait to suffer. Let me go. Chen Yuan couldn't help frowning. Secretly complained in my heart. If anyone else dares to spray feces like this. I was crippled a long time ago. But who made my father not to be a man and be a yellow hair? Immediately, Chen Yuan said to Uncle Wang in a gentle tone, I'll let go if you can, but you promise me to be calm and calm. Now, it is a society governed by the rule of law. To avoid surprises, Chen Yuan immediately said to Mengmeng, go to the house and find a rope. What are you doing in a daze? Go, and the movement in the house. It will be a long time ago. The neighbors of the village were attracted to it, looking at the villagers who were recording videos at the door. Chen Yuan couldn't help but be annoyed and said goodbye. Don't look at it. What's there to see? I'm wrestling with Uncle Wang. Walk away, walk away. And when the villagers were leaving, I can't help but talk about it. Do you see? Chun Jiaming's son, just now. It's like making a movie. Shame is true. It's really fun to be this one today. If only there were them every day. Then Chen Yuan tied Lao Wang firmly. Then he said in a sincere tone, Uncle Wang, is it calm now? I know my dad did something sorry for you. I take him to apologize to you. Hearing this, Lao Wang's eyes immediately turned red, gritted his teeth, and apologized. Tie me up and apologize. There is no way for this to pass. The dog day is green. I can bear it for 20 years. Am I still a man? See this scenario. Chen Yuan couldn't help but sigh. You spoke again, Uncle Wang. That's it. There is no point in retaliating. I'm here to see what can make it up to you. You can mention it as much as you like. As soon as I heard this, Lao Wang immediately burst out laughing. Compensate me. Yes, you really want to make it up to me. You're going to drown yourself. I want Chen Jiaming to be the last. Chen Yuan is sincerely willing to make compensation, but he didn't expect it. Lao Wang would make such a perverted request. Immediately, he said Uncle Wang with a serious face. You're going too far. Even if I drown myself, my dad won't be dead. You know what to say. Lao Wang was suddenly a little confused. What do you mean by that? Subsequently, Lao Wang suddenly saw Wang Mengmeng on the side. He seemed to understand now, too. Chen Yuan is not the only descendant of Lao Chen next door. And Wang Mengmeng listened to the conversation between the two. I also understood in an instant. Why did my dad go crazy all of a sudden? That's when it happened. Xuanying suddenly frowned. The tone was serious. I'd better give you some financial compensation. As soon as this remark came out, Lao Wang suddenly yelled angrily and said, give me money. What's the use of asking for money? Can money be exchanged for a home? Can money be exchanged for my 18-year-old daughter? I don't know how I feel at all. I want 100 million. Can you afford it? As soon as the words fell, Xuanying immediately took out his mobile phone interface and said that he could afford it. If it allows you to let go of your hatred, I'll give you 100 million. As soon as this remark came out, Lao Wang's immediately, an expression of disbelief was revealed. They said, you are as vain as your father. You can come up with 100 million. You lie to the ghost. Xuanying didn't bother to talk nonsense with Lao Wang. Just take out your phone. Then open your own personal account, directly in front of Lao Wang, and let him see for himself. I saw it on the phone screen. A flurry of numbers is shown. The amount is a full balance of 100 million. Blew up. Chen Yuan is not the biological son of Chen Jiaming and his wife. Just now, Chen Yuan, in order to solve his father's affairs, directly said that he would give 100 million to Lao Wang. As compensation, Lao Wang is a little fierce. He really didn't expect it to be in Chen Yuan's account. There really is more than $100 million. Although there are some things, it's true that money can't solve it. However, after Lao Wang saw this huge amount of money, I still can't help but think about it secretly. I could have started all over again. Ask for a young and beautiful wife. Bear me another child of my own. Live the life of a rich man. There are 100 million. Starting the second spring will be a breeze. Once people have a choice, we'll become sane. Lao Wang thought about it. If you fight with Chen Jiaming's family, it seems to be irrational indeed. I'm still young. The possibilities are endless. After some weighing, Lao Wang suddenly figured it out. His face suddenly looked serious. Do you really give me 100 million? Chen Yuan pointed to his mobile phone, but filial piety is of course. I will hit Wang Mengmeng's card for this 100 million, although you are not his biological son. Father, but with the grace of nurturing, he deserves to repay you. You will be given 10 million in the first month. I'll give you the rest of the 10 years to see how it goes. Lao Wang was not stunned when he heard this. He flew for 10 years without doubt. Why not give it to me all at once? And Chen Yuan directly expressed his concerns. I'm afraid your words don't count. Keep getting revenge on me. So give it in 10 years. After speaking, Chen Yuan couldn't help but sigh secretly in his heart. I hope this 100 million can soothe Lao Wang's pain. This 100 million can only use this method to take Wang Mengmeng's path. So, give Lao Wang 100 million without distress. Incidentally, it can also increase the amount of Wang Mengmeng's licking dog consumption. It's a double win. Wang Mengmeng listened to the conversation between the two. My mind immediately became messy. I wasn't born to my dad. I am Uncle Chen's daughter. Chen Yuan is my brother. But Wang Mengmeng saw Chen Yuan smashing 100 million yuan to Lao Wang Hao. I couldn't help but mutter. Although I don't know why Chen Yuan has so much money, but he did it for me. It costs so much money without blinking an eye. In an instant, the system remembered the dream of the 3 lives king. Hints for opinion over time. Wang Mengmeng's favorability towards Chen Yuan. It immediately increased by 30 points. After Chen Yuan heard the system prompt in his mind, I couldn't help but smile lightly. Wang Mengmeng's favorability. And different from others. It's affection. It's a feeling of trust. After 10 minutes, Lao Wang received a 10 million text message. He was in a very unstable mood. Gradually, it began to stabilize. And Wang Mengmeng's card also has an extra 200 million. Looked at Chen Yuan's eyes without blinking. Wang Mengmeng was immediately shocked. A preliminary agreement was reached between Chen Yuan and Lao Wang. Chen Yuan came to Lao Wang's side and began to untie him. Then Chen Yuan said Uncle Wang while loosening the tie. You see that the money has arrived. I'll give you a loose. Tie you up and don't give me any more fights. That's when it happened. Wang Mengmeng suddenly stuck to Chen Yuan. He said, Brother Chen Yuan, can I go to your house tonight? I was a little scared, seeing that Wang Mengmeng was really scared just now. Chen Yuan immediately touched his head with a grin. It's okay to open your mouth. Divide the 2 ends. Just when Chen Yuan wiped his father's buttocks. Inside the World Financial Center of the Magic City, the beautiful secretary took a plate of information and began to report. Li Xiao, I found out Mr. Yan's information. Mr. Yan's real name is Chen Yuan. He is 21 years old. Born in Tianmen City, Hubei Province. Judging from the superficial information, his experience was very ordinary. The ordinary ones are a little weird. I don't believe that Smoke will always be an ordinary person at all. So I did a little more in depth. It took a lot of effort. Found the mother of the member 20 years ago. Ma Xiaomei's medical examination report. The doctor's diagnosis was, Ma Xiaomei is not fertile. Other words, Chen Yuan is not the child of Ma Xiaomei and his wife. But Li Xiao was silent after listening, apparently not satisfied with the report. At this time, Chen Yuan didn't know anything about this. He had already returned home with Wang Mengmeng. The woman struggled, actually only investigated. Chen Yuan is not the biological son of the Chen family. After listening to Lin Shuang's report, Li Jiamu frowned slightly. The results of the investigation is that Chen Yuan was not born to his parents, right? Lin Shuang saw that Li Jiamu didn't seem to be satisfied with this. He couldn't help but look ugly, but there was no way. As soon as the words fell, Li Jiamu immediately stood up from his chair. Raising his hand, he shaved Lin Shuang's big ears fiercely. At the same time, irritation is your head waste. It's a lot of effort. I found out the swallow. The sum and the 2 peasants are not related by blood. Is this the information I need? And Lin Shuang suddenly sat down on the ground. I don't know. The look of being overwhelmed. He had already been beaten. I don't know how to answer it all. And Li Jiamu was silent when he saw Lin Shuang. He immediately gritted his teeth. I want to know the source of Mr. Yan's funds. What kind of forces are behind him to support him? And his real background. That's the point. Do you understand the literary language? Lin Shuang hurriedly patted his chest. I get it all over my face. Li Xiao. I will approach him personally this time. Li Jiamu walked up to Lin Shuang, pinched his chin. This is best for cold channels. You know, you are the dog that our Lee family has raised since childhood. But it's not the only one. If you disappoint me again, you don't have any value in existing. Immediately after that, Lee Jiamu took that share. Concerning Chen Yuan's report, information was torn apart. Then he silently said, "Get out. Remember to keep in touch." On the other side, Chen Yuan's home is in the bathroom. The sound of rushing water was constantly being heard. After following Chen Yuan home, Wang Mengmeng entered the bathroom and began to take a bath. Chen Yuan was fetching some clothes. After coming to the bathroom door, opened his mouth to dream dreams. "I found some of my mother's clean clothes. I'll put you at the door." And Wang Mengmeng, who was taking a bath, the tattoo, hurriedly replied, "Okay. Thank you, brother Chen Yuan." Wang Mengmeng couldn't help but sigh secretly while washing. "Mom doesn't want me anymore. Dad isn't my own dad either. Why is this happening to me?" Then Wang Mengmeng thought of Chen Yuan's good situation today. He couldn't help but secretly guess. Where did Chen Yuan get so much money? Doesn't his family sell fruit? He wouldn't do anything against the law. When I think of me, Wang Mengmeng immediately secretly decided, I'm an adult now. Chen Yuan is so good to me. He's so young. If you accidentally embark on the path of crime, I'm going to have to pull him back. And Chen Yuan still tried at this time. Call your dad. But it has not been able to get through. After trying a few times, Xuanying couldn't help frowning. It's so helpless that you guys are awesome. It's all turned off. How can there be such a person's parents? Your shit is after I wipe my ass. That's when it happened. Wang Mengmeng, who has been washed. Suddenly he walked out of the bathroom. He opened his mouth and said, Brother Chen Yuan, I'm done. Wang Mengmeng, after taking a bath, came to Chen Yuan's side. Seeing this, Chen Yuan hurriedly smiled and said, Mengmeng, you sleep in this room tonight. This is my parents' bedroom. I went to sleep in my own room. What do you call me? That's when it happened. Wang Mengmeng suddenly stretched out his hand and grabbed Chen Yuan's clothes. Then Wang Mengmeng's face was slightly red. With a pitiful face, he said in a pitiful voice, Can you not go? I'm scared alone. I'll just lay on the floor. Please. Seeing that Wang Mengmeng was really scared today, it makes him very insecure. Chen Yuan couldn't help but breathe and said, Okay. Before you know it, Chen Yuan has agreed with Wang Mengmeng's sister several times. After he went to bed, he couldn't help but secretly lose his enemies. Anyway, brothers and sisters have a room. It doesn't matter if you think about it. Chen Yuan couldn't help but sigh secretly. Used to read novels when Lao Tzu wiped his son's buttocks. When I came here, I actually wanted to wipe my ass. It's outrageous. It's like a dream. I actually have a sister. In Chen Yuan, he decided to base the film and television. After the implementation in Tianmen City, Xuanying Film and Television, the group sent a special inspection team. I was ready to do it in Tianmen City. Detailed investigation. But the leadership learned. The network upload is boiling. 100 billion film and television city project. It actually has to be located behind Tianmen City. Immediately, with a team of people came to greet the expedition. After the train stopped, with the opening of the car door, a pair of long legs were the first to poke out the door. And this expedition team was led by Gao Xianin. It is up to him to determine the specific implementation location. After all, a $100 billion film and television city is a big project. Can get out of the train. Gao Hangyin was stunned, looking at the dilapidated platform. He couldn't help but pause and look around him. Gao Hangyin frowned without frowning. Is this Tianmen City? It's too poor. That's when it happened. A little quack in charge of reception. Suddenly he came to Gao Xianin. I said on behalf of the leadership team of Tianmen City, a warm welcome to you. The car has already been arranged. Let's go. Wan Yin chanted and didn't waste any more time. Directly follow the pace of Xiao Quack and say okay. Then I might as well be respectful. Subsequently, Gao Xianing and the other sat in the convoy that came to greet them. Begin to go inside and meet with the leadership team. Soon the inspection team of Xuanying Film and Television Group. Just with the leaders of Tianmen City reached a preliminary cooperation intention. After all, such a small place, it's rare to come across such a huge project investment. Then Xuanying was led by the leaders. Came to a place on the construction site where construction is about to begin. And Xiao Gaga, who hurriedly opened his mouth to introduce Mr. Gao. This piece, it's the land that we've explored. Everything went very well. And the little quack who was mixed in the crowd heard this. Immediately picked up the phone, began to secretly initiate a message. Meanwhile, inside the president's office of the Hans Group in Seoul, Han Sanshui's mobile phone suddenly received a message. BRT Group. The approximate plot of land has been decided. It's time to start planning. After seeing this message, Han Sanshui couldn't help frowning. A smug expression was revealed. He was as cunning as a fox. Then he replied quickly that I had worked hard for you. The money will arrive in the afternoon. Immediately followed by trihydrate. Hurriedly opened his mouth to the little quack below. Nailed it. The approximate base of their film and television base has been determined. The location is at the gate of heaven. Immediately arrange for someone to buy these plots. When the time comes, it will be sold to Xuanying Film and Television Group. You can make a lot of money. Classical Chinese. Xiao Gaga immediately lifted up a smile and said hard. Good boss, after arranging. Han Sanshui couldn't help but squint his eyes and secretly rejoice. I can't afford to mess with you, but I'll borrow you to make a profit. I'm sure you wouldn't mind, would you? Ha ha, and little quack after going out. Take out your phone immediately. He spoke to the other end of the phone. Han Sanshui has found Mr. Yan's film and television base. The site is located in Tianmen City. I'm ready to buy the land and eat the difference. We're going to hurry. Just after the Han Group got this rumor. After a while, Longjiang Real Estate, North Shore Group, Tang Group, Shark Group, Red Emperor Group, Lin Group, and other large group companies. I also learned the news one after another. They know. Once the 100 billion cinema project is exposed, the land of this place is sure to grow by leaps and bounds. Even nearby land will increase in price. Just take the opportunity to buy a piece of land now. Maybe wait a month or two later. The value of the land will be doubled. Twice or even 5 times. 10 times the absolute blood does not lose. Not much. The highway exit of Tianmen City is jammed with traffic. Now is the time to blatantly pick up money. They all know that they have to do it quickly. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan didn't know anything about these things. He was picking watermelons in his farmland. Looking at the watermelons on the ground, Xuanying couldn't help but secretly can't resist Lao Chun. It's really a pleasure. When the melons in the field are ripe, no one cares. If it were rotten, it would be too blind. That's when it happened. Chen Yuan's mobile phone rang suddenly. After Chen Yuan answered the phone, immediately there was a high groan on the other end of the phone. Guilty voices. Chen Yuan, what a fool I am. I messed up again. I don't know who. Information on the location of the film and television base was leaked. Now the price of land in Tianmen City is skyrocketing. Blew up. A woman she had never met. I actually came to the door. Just now. Gao Xianying hurriedly told Chen Yuan. The price of land in Tianmen City is skyrocketing. But after learning that the price of land has skyrocketed, Chen Yin is very heroic, and the price of filial piety has risen. So it's going to cost more money. That's a good thing. As soon as she heard this, Gao Xianying was immediately stunned. Isn't the signal bad? Chen Yuan, what are you talking about? Is this a good thing? Immediately, Chen Yuan hurriedly opened his mouth twice and said, Xianying, you heard it wrong. I mean, it's easy to do. I'll just send you another money. He couldn't help but secretly rejoice. There is another place to spend money. Sure enough, it's not my advantage. Subsequently, Chen Yuan decided to transfer 100 billion yuan. Call Gao Xuanying. Start by punching into the company's account. Only corporate accounts can receive such large sums of money. However, the system prompts that the transfer cannot be completed, since the beneficiary of this corporate account is the host itself. Transfer in is not possible. Licking the dog towel, I saw that the transfer failed. The whole performance was suddenly fierce. I can't turn it around. He had no idea that would happen. Then Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly complain. Could it be that the legal person of the company is a high-hanging silver? But the system determined that the actual beneficiary was me. So can't you transfer money? Chen Yuan thought for a moment. I picked up my phone again began to transfer money to the account of Gao Hang In himself. But the system pops up again. The transfer could not be completed. Such acts by the host are suspected of massive money laundering. Xuanying, after hearing the prompt that the transfer failed, suddenly his face changed drastically. He couldn't help but look strange and say something. Say I'm money laundering. Chen Yuan thought about it carefully. It's almost the analysis of the department. The reason why the transfer is not supported. It seems that it is really impossible to give at the moment. Transfer money over there with high-hanging silver. The system is not so easy to fool. The investment, it has to be really spent licking the dog, bound to the object. When I think of me, Chen Yuan couldn't help but play Wang Mengmeng's idea. The only solution can only rely on Wang Mengmeng. If it is to transfer money to Wang Mengmeng, let him set up a separate company. If you do it again, it should be fine. In this way, not only can the tasks of the system be completed, get huge cashback. Mengmeng is still my sister. Kill two birds with one stone. That's when it happened. Wang Mengmeng suddenly approached Chen Yuan, curious about brother Chen Yuan. Who are you talking to on the phone? Is it your girlfriend? Chen Yuan immediately grinned. Dao just called me with a high hanging. He wants to be my girlfriend words. I need to think about it. Classical Chinese. Wang Mengmeng couldn't help but glance at Chen Yuan angrily. You just brag about it. People are big stars. Recently, a company was opened to build a film and television base. I know I have money with you, but don't worry about this kind of big star. After speaking, Wang Mengmeng skillfully broke a watermelon, then handed to Dusty away, and Chen Yuan suddenly raised his eyebrows, opened his mouth and said, Mengmeng, you are really awake in the world. I've heard about it lately, though. This film and television base with a high hanging. It should be chosen in our Tianmen world. You have money in your card now, too. Do you want to earn some pocket money? Wang Mengmeng was stunned for a moment. What? Is the film and television base going to be built in our Tianmen city? How to turn it? Immediately, Chen Yuan pointed around. He said, look at so much land in our village. You buy them all. If the film and television base is built here in our village, you earn it in blood. Even if you don't choose this place, as long as it is built at the gate of heaven. We can also make a fortune in tourism. Speaking of this, Chen Yuan suddenly paused. He spoke again. A film and television base can bring a lot of people. If there are more people, you can buy and sell. What kind of farmhouse breeding? Greenhouse vegetables are all engaged. After listening to Chen Yuan's analysis, Wang Mengmeng immediately thought about it secretly. My current money was given to me by brother Chen Yuan. It's not my own money after all. I can't always let brother Chen Yuan spend money for me. In the future, we must strive for self-improvement. Come to think of this, Wang Mengmeng immediately pulled out his legs and ran towards the village. At the same time, he said brother Chen Yuan with joy on his face. I think you're right. I'll go talk to my uncle at the village branch. By the way, I will convene everyone to discuss. Looked at Wang Mengmeng's departing figure. Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly miss the enemy. If it's really done by this girl, it's pretty good too. Get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. There's a paradise, pure and at ease. That's when it happened. The road in the village was suddenly. Bursts of exploding engines were heard. A large number of luxury cars are speeding down the road. Not long before this group of luxury cars, it stopped on the side of the road across the road. The most conspicuous of them all, the limousine. The price is as high as 12 million. Then the doors slammed open. A small thin leg wrapped in black silk took the lead. Leaning out of it, I saw a few strong men with a height of 1.9 meters, under the protection of bodyguards. A kawaii in a princess dress. The girl kept looking around. Immediately afterwards, the girl went straight to Chen Yuan. Asked, "You are Chen Yuan?" And Chen Yuan was a little puzzled. "Which one are you? I don't seem to know you." Immediately, the girl tilted her neck. I started to introduce myself. "Introduce yourself. My name is Lynn Jila." "Hello, Mr. Bien. We meet again." As soon as I heard this, Chen Yan's face instantly turned strange. He muttered something to "meet again." I haven't even seen it. You, Lynn Jila, the daughter of the Lin family, actually saw through Chen Yuan's plan. Let's talk about cooperation. Just now, Lin Jila came to Chen Yuan's with a pair of bodyguards. The door of the house looked at Lin Jila, who suddenly arrived. Chen Yuan couldn't help frowning, and he was puzzled. "I have a bad memory. We don't think we've ever met." As soon as this remark came out, Lin Jila immediately exploded. "He was so excited that you don't remember me." Immediately, Lin Jila frowned slightly. Tried to help Chen Yuan recall. "Auto show, some time ago. I went with my brother at the time. Lin Shao is my brother. Have you forgotten?" As soon as this remark came out, Chen Yuan immediately recalled what Zhang Haoyan said. Lin Shao went to the auto show to buy a car. It's just to deliver the car to his sister. Suddenly, Chen Yuan muttered secretly. He mentioned it. It seems that Lin Shao was around at that time. It was true that a woman followed. And Lin Jila looked at Chen Yuan's thoughtful expression. I couldn't help but complain in my heart. Isn't the rumored Yin always amorous and lustful? How unexpectedly. We'll forget about Miss Ben. I don't even have the slightest impression. He decided immediately. Be sure to let Chen Yuan remember himself firmly. Then, Chen Yuan asked directly. Miss Lin Jila that I remembered. Excuse me, why did you come to me? And Lin Jila smiled lightly and said politely. Are you used to talking outside? Why don't you invite Miss Ben to your house? Looking at the villagers gathered around, Chen Yuan couldn't help but muttered to the island. Let's talk about things here. It's a bit too ostentatious. As soon as he thought of me, Chen Yi immediately walked out of the house. At the same time, let's say yes. Just park your car on the side of the road. Just come with me. Don't spoil the villagers' crops. Subsequently, Chen Yuan took Lin Jila into the house, and several are almost more than 1.9 meters tall. Very muscular bodyguard. Stay outside the house and guard the river gate. After entering the house, Chen Yuan waved his hand. It's straightforward, and it's clean. Tell me what you came here to do with me. And the expression on Lin Jila's face. Suddenly he became serious. Slowly stretched out his hand and laughed at Mr. Bien. You're laying out a wave of leeks ready to be harvested. Chen Yan heard this. Suddenly his face was strange and puzzled. What do you mean by cutting leeks? Seeing that Chen Yuan looked completely unaware, Lin Jila couldn't help but look at it. Begin to analyze the side total. Everyone understands people. Don't pretend you can fool anyone else. But he couldn't deceive Miss Ben's discernment. You first borrowed the hand of the popular actress to hang the silver. To announce the 100 billion investment in the film and television base. Let hundreds of millions of netizens talk about it. Everyone remembered the name Mr. Yin. But put this business plan. Leave it to a grassroots company to operate. The management of Kashwan Film and Television Group, as well as the person in charge, is basically Gao Xuanying himself, who was born in filmmaking. He's just an actor. There is no experience in managing a company at all. There is even less capacity to handle large-scale investment projects. The whole team, seems to me, it's all a rabble. So those commercial espionage can easily sneak in and get important information easily. Now the rumors are leaking. Everyone poured into Tianmen to speculate on the land. And even a lot of people. He did not hesitate to mortgage his assets and soul to enclose the land. Speaking of this, Lynn Jila suddenly pointed at Chen Yuan suddenly. Seriously, this is your overall plan. You're going to have a lot of it right away. Acquire the assets they sold. What a dark warehouse. Chen Yuan heard this analysis. I couldn't help but be secretly shocked by something in my heart. Am I so good? Immediately, Chen Yuan cleared the river twice. There was a very flat expression on his face. There is no wave in the face of the ancient well. The unfathomable look opened his mouth and said, so what? But what does it matter to you? Lin Jila looked at the dust with a calm face. I couldn't help frowning. The secret enemy can't be punctured by Miss Ben's plan. Can still be so calm. This man's city is truly terrifying. No wonder my brother is such an arrogant and domineering person. After discovering Mr. Yan's plan, there was no movement. Instead, he chose to give up his idea outright. The more Lin Jila thought about it, the more he was afraid. He immediately secretly decided that this man was unfathomable. You must not be an enemy of it. Thinking of it, Lin Jila hurriedly attacked. But laugh. Straight to the point. Miss Ben came to talk to you this time, mainly on behalf of Lin Jila and Yin. The Prime Minister talks about cooperation. And yet at this moment, suddenly there was a shout outside the door. What are you doing here? This is my home. Get out of the way, I'm going to get in. I saw that the strong-man bodyguard at the door actually stopped at the door, tightly grasped Wang Mengmeng's hand, and did not let go. And Wang Mengmeng was annoyed and said, what are you doing? How unreasonable. It's coming, it's coming. Lin Jila, the girl Lori Wind, was actually bound by Chen Yuan. Just now, Wang Meng's dream is to enter the house. Was stopped by the bodyguards brought by Lin Jila, and the strong-man bodyguard who stopped at the door, listening to Wang Mengmeng's shout. But he still grabbed his arm and held it firmly. It's talking about things inside. Sorry you can't get in. Chen Yuan's tattoo immediately got up and came out of the house. Without a gloomy face, he said, what are you doing? That's my sister. Let her go. But the strong man at the door, after hearing Chen Yuan's words, it didn't move. Instead, he set his sights on Lin Jila, asked for her opinion, and Lin Jila found the gaze of the bodyguard's bedroom, but suddenly turned his head sideways and pretended not to see. At the same time, the secret enemy is not calm Mr. Yin. Actually made a big fuss about this sister. It's funny to test his bottom line. Obviously, the bodyguard next door didn't listen to Chen Yuan. Just listened to Lin Jila. Quite faceless. Immediately, Chen Yuan was angry with you like this. I said let you go. As soon as the words fell, Chen Yuan immediately kicked his feet. The figure flew out like a sword history without a bow. The bodyguard didn't have time to react. Was firmly pressed on his head by Chen Yuan with one hand. Immediately afterwards, Chen Yuan roared angrily and let go of labor and management. Suddenly, the bodyguard was thrown away by Chen Yuan. Chen Yin shot in less than a few seconds. The strong man's bodyguard had already hit the ground with a bang. Slammed to the ground. See this scenario. The eyes of Lin Jila and others. The beads fell to the ground in an instant. Those present did not seem to expect it at all. His brother was happy to hire an ace bodyguard. It's such a waste. Immediately, Lin Jila's face was shocked and secretly shocked. Are you kidding? It's so vulnerable. Our bodyguards are all retired special forces. Looking at the dust that was comforting Wang Mengmeng, Lin Jila couldn't help but secretly make enemies. Isn't the richer the island, the weaker the body? My brother was sweating profusely when he climbed 2 floors at home. How can this guy be like a scion? As soon as he thought of this, Lin Jila suddenly showed Tao Hong, looked at the dust with a face full of adoration. In my heart, this is the real man. It's the kind of man I'm looking forward to, right now. The system suddenly remembered to prompt the start of the dog licking operation. Name, Lin Jila, age 18 years old, height 162 centimeters, weight 46 kilograms, appearance 9 points. The girl's favorability towards the host is 0. After binding the dog-licking relationship, the girl has a favorable opinion of the host for more than 95 points. Then achieve a counterattack. Successfully become a host-licking dog. Counterattack rewards 30 enhancement points. Proficient in drawing. Go proficient. Singing proficient looked at the pop-up prompt panel. Chen Yuan couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Then he looked towards Lynn Jila. Immediately after that, Chen Yuan said with a gloomy face, "Lynn Jila, is this your attitude when talking about cooperation? Bullying my family in my home?" And Mengmeng Wenyan couldn't help but stab his brother. "Who are they?" Chen Yuan immediately looked at Lin Ziluobi. He asked Lin Jila to come to me to talk about business. But it feels like the quality is very poor. Classical Chinese. Wang Mengmeng immediately showed a look of admiration. "He looks younger than me. Did you actually start a business? That's amazing." Facing the reproach of the dusty distance, Lin Jila hurriedly put on an apologetic posture. "Say goodbye." "It's Miss Ben, that's wrong. These bodyguards were found by my brother. I wasn't very obedient either." "You're satisfied." Chen Yuan saw Lin Jila's style of an eldest lady. Suddenly, I became a little impatient, and I couldn't talk about satisfaction. And then there is no need to talk about the next cooperation. Seeing that Chen Yuan was really angry, Wang Mengmeng hurriedly started Brother Yuanchang. "What are you doing so fiercely? It's good to scare someone's little sister. My name is Wang Mengmeng." Lin Jila saw that Wang Mengmeng actually spoke for herself. He couldn't help but introduce himself a little shyly. "My name is Lin Jila." "Hello," subsequently. The two of them chatted with you and me one by one. "Hello, Dream. How old are you?" 18. "What is your birthday?" "I'm June 29th. I'm June 29th. I'm June 29th. It's the same birthday. Looked at the two of them who were chatting nonstop. Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly can't fight the girl. "Have you forgotten that your brother is still there? Feel like you're superfluous." Chen Yuan was born with a beautiful anger. Interrupted, "Are girls so familiar?" The man originally wanted to drive Lin Jila away, but I didn't expect it. Wang Mengmeng actually chatted with Lin Jila. Who expected Wang Mengmeng and Lin Jila? Was born on the same day, the same month, and the same year. It was a slightly unpleasant atmosphere. It's also been diluted because of this. Next, the two girls began to talk about everything. Chatting and talking. It seems that they have found a common hobby. That is to analyze Chen Yuan. In Lin Jila's mouth. Wang Mengmeng soon knew. Chen Yuan is not an ordinary college student. He has a project of his own. Very profitable. Immediately, Wang Mengmeng walked to Chen Yuan's side excitedly. "Brother Dao, it turns out that you were so good. If it hadn't been for Jila telling me, I don't even know." And Chen Yuan didn't have a good airway. "Your brother, I am a veritable treasure boy. You're still to be discovered." Suddenly, the system remembered to prompt Wang Mengmeng's favorability to Jiamu. Current opinion is 35. By Lin Jila. Wang Mengmeng understood the other side of Chen Yuan. He worships the Tao without refining the deer. Praise you a few words and gasp. "You really think you're a narcissistic boy?" And Lin Jila's eyes when he looked at Chen Yuan also changed. Lin Jila also got to know Chen Yuan, the more mundane side. He couldn't help but secretly envy. Chen Yuan has a really good relationship with his sister, worth hundreds of billions, is willing to nest in this mountain to live a film and television life. Chen Yuan's state of mind and pattern may have entered the realm. Heaven and man are one. Lin Jila found. The man is becoming more and more mysterious. It's getting more and more incredible. He couldn't help but sigh secretly. Such a wonderful and perfect person. It really exists. Reminiscent of Chen Yuan's previous performances. And that explosive force value. Lin Jila couldn't help but secretly say in his heart, It always feels like he's full of secrets. Suddenly, the system remembered to prompt Lin Jila's favorability to overtime. Current opinion. In order to unravel the secrets of Chen Yuan's body, Lin Jila suddenly asked Chen Yuan, "Will I be able to stay at your house today?" As soon as this remark came out, Chen Yuan immediately blew up something Lu Su. "Are you kidding me? Do I know you well?" Immediately after that, Chen Yuan went directly to his white hands. The bamboo customer order was issued, and the business was discussed. "You're still on it?" "I can't send it when I walk slowly." Seeing Chen Yuan so resolute, Lin Jila hurriedly said coquettishly, "Miss Ben wanted to experience rural life." "No, you can't. I finally came out to play for a few days. There are a few people in the family." "Why not?" And Chen Yuan refused again. "Lonely men and widows." But Wang Mengmeng kindly persuaded and said, "Oh, if you want to play for a few days, you can follow him. I want to help him clean up the room," and came out. See, Wang Mengmeng actually said these words that led the wolf into the room. Chen Yuan couldn't help but be a little stunned. But when he saw Wang Mengmeng, it was full, an expectant expression. "I can't bear to refuse." Then Chen Yuan had no choice but to turn around and turn white. Helpless, okay. It's up to you not to get into trouble." The second daughter heard the voice. Immediately, he clapped his palms excitedly and celebrated. But Chen Yuan suddenly sneered. "I secretly muttered in my heart that I still experienced life. How comfortable do you think the countryside is? Leave you for 2 days. See if you don't make a noise and go back to the city." And Lin Jila came this time. It's not just about talking about cooperation. He also wants to investigate Mr. Yan's true identity and background. Only live together. To find more clues. He couldn't help but feel secretly proud. "I want to observe Chen Yuan closely. Be sure to dig up the big secret on him." Soon it was midnight. Listen to the chatter of discussion next door. The dust is far away, and the enemy can't help but secretly can't fight women. It's really noisy. Some age groups. Qianjian began to think about it secretly. Dad said it was okay to work with the neighborhood party. Let them do all the dirty work. I'll just step back into the background. But the neighbor sent such a girl. Trust me so much. Lin Shao is not afraid that I will do his sister. Thinking about it, Chen Yuan felt sleepiness coming. He immediately picked up a pillow to cover his head. In my heart, I secretly said that I didn't want to think about it. Anyway, I'm going to sleep without losing money. Early the next morning, the sun has just risen. There was a thumping sound, and the noise is so loud. Almost the entire village can be heard clearly. Chen Yuan, who was woken up by the noise. After looking at the time, it blew up immediately. What time is it? What a move in the early morning. Immediately, Chen Yuan quickly got up and walked directly to the door, going to see what was disturbing him sleeping. But Chen Yuan just opened the door. Lin Jila turned to Chen Yuan with a smile. "You woke up," but Chen Yuan couldn't laugh. He looked at the scene in front of him and couldn't help but shrink his pupils, stunned in place, looking at the construction team that is demolishing the house. Chen Yuan immediately blew up Lin Jila. "What kind of plan are you doing? I'm kind enough to keep you overnight. When you woke up, you demolished my house." The daughter of the man who kindly took in. He demolished his home early in the morning. Seeing Chen Yuan's unhappy face, Lin Jila immediately straightened his waist. The testimony is what it means to be poor. This is called retrofit optimization. After all, Miss Ben is going to live here for the next few days. Comfort, of course. The toilet in your house before was too rudimentary. Miss Ben paid for an imported toilet. The toilets were completely refurbished. Speaking of which, Lin Jila directly dragged the edge of the dust and walked inside. At the same time, there is also your pigsty. Black is not in the middle of winter. It's complete animal cruelty. Miss Ben bought each of them, got into the premium jacuzzi. Now everything is perfect. See this scenario. Xuanying couldn't help but complain secretly with a shocked face. Are rich people so problematic? I don't understand it at all. Subsequently, Lynn Jila took Chen Yuan to his room. The mysterious filial piety is good. There are also the ones that need to be introduced the most. That's the room where Miss Ben will be living in the next few days. I saw Lin Jila's room straight. Pick up. It was changed to a princess in an all-natural Nordic style. Simple atmosphere with a touch of warmth. And it has a certain artistic style. Wang Mengmeng, who was trying out a massage chair. Suddenly excited brother. You're so good at Luoluo. This chair is so comfortable. The tattoo is heavy-eyed, and the face can't help but darken. Laughed angrily, haha. If you like it, it's fine. That's when it happened. Lin Jila suddenly opened his mouth with a smug face. All materials are high-grade goods with 0 formaldehyde. Don't worry about being harmful to the human body. Next, I'm going to install underfloor heating for the whole house. And satellite phones, listening to Lin Jila's gushing renovation plan. The eyebrows and eyes can't help but be angry, and the enemy can't be secretly attacked. It's really worthy of being a big lady. Food, clothing, housing, and transportation are so particular. Wait for mom and dad to come home one day. I don't think I know my house. Looked at Wang Mengmeng and Lin Jila. The spring couldn't help but sigh secretly. I'm going home to rest. I'm back to work as a babysitter. Just when Wang Mengmeng was shocked in the renovated house. Phew. Bodyguards guarding downstairs. Suddenly, he looked upstairs. Then he took out his phone, made a phone call to the Lin family's eldest Xuanying. Lin Xiao's plan was a success. The second lady has successfully penetrated the interior. Mr. Bien is very interested in cooperation. And Lin listened to the report. I said indifferently that it would be good to be interested. You protect the second lady. Keep me informed if there is any situation. Lin hung up the phone. He suddenly smiled and held up a glass of red wine. And beside him, there was a girl. All the best. Lin immediately. Right in front of you. A pretty one not likes. The woman toasted a glass of wine. Of course it went well. It is said that Mr. Yin is greedy and lustful. I sent my sister to him, naturally 10,000 interested. And Li Jiamu's secretary Ling Shutong. After taking a sip of red wine, I couldn't help it. The smile is worthy of the big boy next door. Use my sister to make ear fishing for big fish. The editor must be very satisfied at this moment. I felt that my plan to cut leaks was seamless. It's a pity that the praying mantis catches the cicada and the yellow finch is behind. Speaking of this, Ling Shutong suddenly smiled proudly. Wait until Lin Jila. When backstabbing him with Li Jia, he estimated that his intestines were all remorseful. Linny couldn't help nodding and said, it's a pity that it's a plot. In the end, it's just a wedding dress for someone else. After successfully uniting the Lin family, Ling Shutong suddenly spoke, since the plan was smooth. It's time for me to move on to the next thing. But Lin suddenly put his hand on Ling Shutong's shoulder. Will you leave today? Isn't it so urgent that my wine here doesn't match your mind? But Ling Shutong was suddenly. Gently lifted Lin Yi's chin. The wine is good, but wait until the dust settles before drinking. It tastes even more mellow. The supernatural Wen Yin hurriedly echoed the lady who arrived at the store. That's right. After leaving the supernatural office, Ling Shutong couldn't help but muttered secretly. If Mr. Yin is similar to this supernatural, that's when I get close to him. He won't be able to escape my beauty tricks. And Chen Yuan took Wang Mengmeng. After going home with Lin Jila, the villagers immediately gathered around his house. There was a discussion at the door. Did you hear that? The old Wang family's dream is now with Chen. Isn't it? Even if it's really a brother and sister, you should avoid suspicion. The relationship between the old Chen family is really chaotic. And yet at this moment, Chen Yuan suddenly walked out of the house. Then just pushed the door open, looked at Lin Jila, who walked out with Chen Yuan. The villagers immediately whispered, "This is the other day when I drove a Bentley into the village." The rich woman with a bunch of bodyguards also lived in, looked at the two who were leaving together. The villagers couldn't help but start speculating. Chen Yuan won't do anything difficult to do public relations outside. I'm the captain of the ship. The positive mark that blends in the crowd does not pass. He scolded with an indignant face. This kid is handsome in addition to being good-looking. There really are no other advantages. It's been a dick since I was a child. I will only eat soft rice, and I want nothing. This little rich woman is young. Will care about the appearance of men. If only he were older. You see, he doesn't know yet. I won't take a fancy to Chen Ren's wretchedness. Why did Chen Yuan take advantage of all the good things? Immediately, Jing Biao hurriedly waved his hand at Chen Yuan. Grinned Chen Yuan. Why don't you go with me to the city at night? Chen Yuan was not stunned when he heard this. Then he stopped and wondered where to go in the city. See members of interest. Zheng Biao immediately said with great interest. It's a junior high school reunion. Isn't Tianmen City very lively recently? There are many classmates. They all said that they wanted to go to the new city to have a look. Let's go have some wine in the evening. I heard that Gao Xianing is also over there. Okay. We can still meet celebrities. As soon as I heard this, Chen Yuan knew that Gao Xianing had come to Tianmen City. Naturally, many young people are ready to move. They all want to see the stars. When the guitar he smiled lightly, he agreed to come down. I have time in the evening. Xuanying Chen Yuan couldn't help, but secretly can't make enemies. Class reunions are generally about showing off wealth or pretending to be forced. I hope Jing Biao doesn't give me a chance. I've been pretending to be too much lately. It's really a little tired, but the urgency. It's to solve this big problem in front of you. Then Chen Yuan took Lynn Jila with him. Walk in the direction of the cultivated land in the village. They went out the back door, so the bodyguards haven't reacted yet. Lynn Jila had already been abducted by Chen Yuan. The two went further and further. After a while, we came to a cornfield. I saw that there was no one around. Lin Jila said Chen Yuan without doubt. What are you bringing Miss Ben here for? Lin Jila looked around without passing aside. On the one hand, the secret enemy does not fall. It's so remote here. He wasn't trying to knock me down in a cornfield. Immediately, Chen Yuan showed an extremely obscene expression. What are you doing with a sneer? You say it's my place. If you cut your throat, no one will come to your aid. Yi is in Lin Kulu. When I was so frightened that my little face turned white for a while. Chen Yuan suddenly threw a basket at him. At the same time, he said, "You carry this basket on your back. Go pick 20 corns." As soon as this remark came out, Lin Jila immediately visualized on the spot. He didn't expect that. Chen Yuan actually let himself do coolies. The first few, Lin Jila was like discovering a new world. Start picking money. He didn't have any mood to rebel. On the contrary, I think it's fun. Kept exclaiming, it turned out that this was corn. Corn grows on the ground. Looking at the already tired and sweaty head. But Lingji was full of interest. Dusty eyes couldn't help but secretly rejoice. Let you feel how hard it is to do farm work. You'll soon want to go back to town. After picking corn, while Lin Jila's freshness has not passed, Chen Yuan decided to take him to the field to dig sweet potatoes. After digging sweet potatoes, Lin Jila was actually getting more and more excited. Chen Yuan had no choice but to take him to the river to fish and run. After a while, Lin Jila suddenly sighed Chen Yuan. It turns out that life in the countryside is so interesting. It's so much fun. Miss Ben will stay here from now on. Miss Ben doesn't want to go to school anymore. I don't want to go back to the city. I feel like I've grown a lot of things today. Looked at Lin Jila, who was more and more excited the more she talked. Concealment. The ugly face scolded secretly that he had been tired all morning. He didn't feel tired. The hell out of the box. The plan failed. And yet at this moment, not far away, there were suddenly cries for help. Attracted the attention of the two. I saw a path near a cornfield. Suddenly a group of strangers appeared. Running ahead was a beautiful and innocent-looking man. looked at the poor young woman, and the rear catches up. It was 5 or 6 fierce men. These big men are not easy to mess with at first glance. Blew up. Super big beauty. Actually wanted to use a beauty trick on Chen Yuan. Just now, Chen Yuan had just finished touching fish in the river. I found it not far away. A young girl is being chased by a group of strongmen. The woman ran wildly and begged for help in fear. The direction he ran from. It was very coincidental to come to Chen Yuan's side. And also carelessly. I was stumbling over a stone on the ground. Originally, Chu Chu was pitiful and frightened woman. Actually fell a dog and ate. It looks distressing. Seeing this, the strong man at the head immediately had a deer antler on his face. Ning shout out he. Run. Why don't you run? Immediately afterwards, the strong man grabbed the woman's hair. A sneer can be regarded as catching you. The little girl is quite able to run. Don't cry and go back with us. Otherwise, there will be good fruit for you. As soon as the words fell, the strong man immediately picked up the woman. Reveal his appearance, although there is some mud on the face, but it can't hide his amorous style. And between the eyebrows of the woman who traveled between me, it was very moving. The facial features are delicate and fair. Any man takes a look, there will be a strong desire to protect in the heart. Chen Yuan hadn't spoken yet. Lynn Jila next to him. I can't stand it anymore. Immediately, there was a red crane sound. Let go of that girl for me. Lin Jila was undaunted, and his face was full of annoyance. Angrily pointed at a few big men and scolded. You scumbags. Bullying a weak woman in broad daylight. Let him go for me. Xuanying saw this. I couldn't help muttering in my heart. This little girl is very bold. He didn't bring his bodyguards with him today. Dare to go directly to the hard cylinder. But Chen Yuan vaguely felt that something was wrong. It always feels a bit too much of a coincidence. This kind of thing happens as soon as you go out. And the more he looked at it, the more he felt. These big brothers always seem to be acting a little. The ingredients of the play are inside. However, Chen Yuan still took one step at a time. Blocked Lin Jila's death. The tone was flat. Enough of the brothers. Give me a face and get out of here. As soon as this remark came out, the big man at the head immediately looked disdainful. The expression is extremely arrogant, and the shouting pours down to give you face. What do you like that? Then Chen Yuan made a decisive move. 1 minute later, all 6 strong men fell to the ground, wailing in agony. A couple of strong men. It hurt so much that I almost burst into tears. They don't get it. Such a skinny brat. It's so heavy. Chen Yuan's performance in this wave can be called perfect. Moment of truth. Chen Yuan really didn't disappoint him. Shoot when it's time to strike. Immediately, he exclaimed. You're too good at the spring. I couldn't even see the movements. You've knocked them down. Suddenly, the system sounded a series of Lin Jila's favorites. Tips. Immediately afterwards, Chen Yuan came to the woman. Then a gentle look of concern for this lesbian. Are you okay? The Wanxing woman hurriedly got up from the ground. A grateful look on his face. Expression change after horror and salvation. It looks very natural. And sincerely say thank you for saving me. My name is Lin Shutong. I will definitely repay you later. Lin Shutong looked at Chen Yuan's eyes. It was as if his eyes were all over him. That affectionate look, it is enough to touch the soft heart of every man. Even Chen Yuan's heart couldn't help but chuckle. The groove is so seductive. Suddenly, the system will sound a prompt sound, and the dog licking action will be turned on. Name, Lin Shutong, age 23, height 168 centimeters. Weighs 48 kilograms, and has a face value of 9.3 points. The girl has a -80 opinion of the host. Counterattack. Completing enhancement points rewards 50 skill disguise. Latent business management. Fighting master Morse password mastery, hacker mastery. Art proficient in cooking, proficient in red alcohol. He is proficient in stock trading, proficient in painting, proficient in piano, proficient in English, proficient in costume design. Chen Yuan really didn't expect it. Save him himself. His opinion turned out to be minus 80 points. But he also pretended to thank you. Originally, Chen Yuan. Not so much before. Determine if this woman is acting or not. This is a complete hammer. Chen Yuan was after reading the series of bonus skills. He couldn't help but say secretly in his heart with a strange face, "Who is this woman? Actually proficient in so many skills. And the favorability is unprecedentedly minus 80 miles. I didn't do anything to him. Qin Dingxue didn't hate me so much at the beginning. I pretend to be quite grateful. But you can't fool people about my favorability. This woman definitely has a ghost." That's when it happened. Lin Shutong suddenly collapsed to the ground. Then he began to sigh with a sad face. Lynn Jila saw this, hurriedly turned his head to Lin Shutong and asked the young lady, "Are you okay? Why are they chasing you?" And Lin Shutong immediately got up, put on a look of wanting to speak and stop. "There seems to be something unspeakable, because I owe them money." Women have a whopping minus 80 opinion for members, but deliberately tried to get close to her. Followed by Moon Age Frost made up a cliché in detail. Dog's blood is pitiful and reasonable storyline. I grew up in a single-parent family. My father was imprisoned at an early age. The mother was diagnosed with a terminal illness. The already crumbling family is in even worse trouble. In order to treat my mother's illness, I went to borrow a loan shark. But the mother died anyway. I can't pay them back either. I was left alone. Speaking of this, Lin Shutong suddenly sighed to him. They wanted to sell my body to pay back. I sneaked out halfway through. But these words came out of Lin Shutong's mouth. It's extraordinarily sincere. Lin Jila couldn't help but feel pitiful. It's so pathetic too. "Sister, how much money do you owe? Miss Ben will help you pay it back." "I'm Miss 0 plus 2. But Lin Shutong bit her lip. Stubborn and strong hard words. "Thank you, little sister. It takes a little time for me to make money on my own." Lin Jila was immediately moved when she heard this. "Sister, you're really strong. It's like a flower blooming in Uniri." And the dust on the side was silent. He didn't debunk it to his face. A group of calm people in his heart. I even want to laugh a little. Looked at Lin Jila, who kept talking. Dust is far from secretly complaining to the trough. What a vulgar 8 o'clock plot is too fake. Even a little mentally handicapped, like Lin Jila, would believe it. However, Chen Yi had no intention of crossing Lin Shutong. He felt that life had become so boring. It's okay to keep him for fun. It can spice up the boring life. After all, there was a woman who deliberately approached her. There is also a wave of heroes to save the beauty of the design. He felt very interesting at the beginning. Chen Yuan also planned to use Yueling. Frost leads to the man behind him. Mystery. Chen Yuan opened his mouth and interrupted, saying, "Okay, Lin Jila, you can take Miss Yu home and bandage it. Take a shower, by the way." And Lin Jila immediately turned around. "Sister Yu's clothes are dirty. Need to take a shower and change your clothes." And Chen Yuan was not angry. "I'm talking about yourself. You see, you're like a coal digger now. How can there be the appearance of the second miss of the Lin family?" Then Chen Yuan smiled. "A friendly Chow Lin Shutong proposed to Miss Yu. If you will, I do have a company. You can come to our company to do things." As soon as I heard this, Lin Shutong was suddenly a little stunned. He immediately put on a look of wanting to refuse and welcome the concubine. Xuanying replied that it wasn't good. These words really made Lin Shutong feel an inexplicable surprise. He didn't expect it to be so easy to get close to Mr. Yin. He couldn't help but secretly rejoice. He asked me to go to his company. It's all going to take a lot of work. The members are exactly as the information says. It's a color lot. And the members didn't insist anymore. Okay, since Miss Yu doesn't want to forget it. That's when I didn't say it. Seeing that Chen Yuan did not play cards according to the routine at all, Lin Shutong was stunned for a moment. He also thought that Chen Yuan would hold on a little. Then explain what you do. That's the basic process. Immediately, Lin Shutong secretly cursed in his heart. Don't you even hold on for a moment? If you hold on, I'll go. This Chen Yuan has some serious illness. Seeing this, Lynn Jila, who was in the hall, hurriedly smiled. He said that he seemed to be very good. It's rare for you to have the same job. Sister you are so beautiful. You won't be unable to find a job. Lin Shutong, Wen Yin hurriedly spoke. Miss Lin was serious. Where's Kanabi pretty? As soon as this remark came out, Lynn Jila immediately turned around. Towards Chen Yuan, Sister Yu is really good at talking. It's not like some people will just say that Miss Ben is a mud monkey. I don't know how to appreciate it all. Lin Shutong laughed. Miss Dowling is beautiful. The important thing is that the soul is also beautiful. A few times ago, Lin Shutong looked at Chen Yuan's figure. Secretly asked Chen Yuan what kind of attitude he had in his heart. He clearly coveted my looks. Love with others is not too obvious. That's when it happened. Lynn Jila suddenly interrupted. It's better to do this. Sister, you can come to my company. Be my assistant. I'll give you the highest salary. When Lin Shutong was immediately stunned. Lin Jila kindly gave him a job. But that's not his idea at all. But in this case, he is not easy to refuse. Immediately, Lin Shutong was secretly annoyed. Who's going to be your assistant? I'm so annoyed that my goal is to get close to the dust. Don't come to spoil my good deeds. Men are kind enough to treat women's wounds. But I didn't expect the woman to dislike him even more. Just now, Chen Yuan returned home with Lin Jila and Lin Shutong. Suddenly, the bodyguards were stunned by the second miss. How did you do this? Immediately, a group of bodyguards surrounded Lin Shutong. Excited to the second miss. What happened to you? So embarrassed. Yes, and hurt. How do you explain to the eldest young master? Lin Jila, who was on the side, immediately blew up when he saw this. What are you doing? I'm the second lady. Get up, all of you. Immediately afterwards, Lin Jila's face was full of annoyance. Angrily, he said that you actually admitted that you were wrong. Miss Ben went back and wanted to sue her brother. As soon as this remark came out, the bodyguards immediately erupted into a wail. Second miss, you are the same as the unearthed cultural relics. It's reasonable for us to admit our mistakes. We can't be blamed for that. Seeing this, Wang Mengmeng on the side hurriedly comforted and said okay. Lolo, didn't they mean it either? Looking at the glamorous and moving Moon Lin Shutong, Wang Mengmeng was secretly shocked. This sister is a little dirty though, but it's beautiful. Wang Mengmeng was seeing Lin Shutong. After looking at Chen Yuan's eyes, I couldn't help but get secretly excited. This look is too obvious. Another girl who was captured by my brother. King Mengmeng of Xinji looked at Lin Jila on the side. He muttered secretly, but Sister Lin also seems to like my brother. It's a romance novel. That's when it happened. Chen Yuan suddenly felt. Wang Mengmeng's eyes were strange when he looked at him. Immediately, he was concerned about Mengmeng. How's your homework going? But Wang Mengmeng. But suddenly pounced on Chen Yuan's body. Excited to brother. You're amazing. It's excellent. I found 2 sisters-in-law so quickly. Chen Yuan immediately said, I don't. Don't talk nonsense. Lin Jila's tattoo on the side immediately blushed. Something whatever. What do you say, sister-in-law? Mengmeng, don't talk nonsense. Miss Ben won't. And the Moon Age Frost, which has -80 opinion points towards members, hurriedly pretended to be shy. Explained little sister. Your brother and I met for the first time. Misunderstanding. But Wang Mengmeng didn't believe the explanation of the two at all. He couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Secretly proud to he. Still pretending to be with me. Now there will be a lively look at the house in the future. Hey, but Wang Mengmeng couldn't help but sigh. Admit that this peach blossom luck is too vigorous. As a younger sister, he didn't feel any jealousy. On the contrary, I feel that my brother is very good. Followed by bodyguards. Took out Lin Jila's medical kit. Lin Jila took the medical kit. Come to Moon Age Frost. Say goodbye to my sister. You've fallen and injured yourself before. Miss Ben is here to give you medicine. Moonling Frost Tattoo hurriedly said that this is not good. I'll just do it myself. But Lin Jila was full of confidence and said what he was afraid of. Miss Ben is very professional. As soon as I heard this, age and months, the Frost revealed the scars on his thighs. Then he nodded and said okay. Then you have to tap it. I'm afraid of pain. Then Lin Jila began to make a meal. After dipping a cotton ball in alcohol, the force on the wound was too great. The pain made the Moon Age Frost scream again and again. Even the ointment applied. Lin Jila accidentally squeezed out a large ball. Immediately, he hurriedly apologized, sorry. I accidentally got too much. Yu Ling Shuang, who was tortured one after another, couldn't help crying. It doesn't matter, you didn't mean to. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. Damn the little guy next door. The old lady can't spare you. That's when it happened. Chen Yuan, who was standing on the side, couldn't stand it anymore. Directly grabbed Lin Jila's hand. Looking at Lin Jila's amateur team, he was really a little unbearable. When he was a guitar, he was so angry that he would better come. Then Chen Yuan took the medical kit. Then squat on the ground, began to skillfully disinfect the moon-old cream, and smeared wounds. My colleague explained that he was sorry. He hadn't done anything like that. I'll forgive you for hurting you. I'll help you disinfect. Immediately, Ling Shuang's tone was gentle, and with a hint of adoration, he said thank you. Mr. Chen Yuan, I didn't expect you to be so skilled in dealing with wounds. It's really amazing. Immediately after that, the system will sound a prompt sound. Yu Ling Shuang's favorability is reduced by 5. Current opinion, 85 points. Wansheng Chen Yuan was immediately shocked. He looked at Yu Ling Shuang with a grateful expression. I almost admired the 5-body throw. If it weren't for you, the opinion level on the top of the head has dropped by 5 points. I thought you were truly grateful to me. The man knew that Yu Ling Shuang was an acting school, but also took the initiative to invite him to be his personal secretary. Just now, Xuanying was after helping Yu Ling Shuang clean up his wounds. Yu Ling Shuang thanked him with a grateful face. I didn't expect it. The system remembered the hint of favor due -5. Chen Yuan was listening. The moment when the system prompts you to deduct your opinion. Look up immediately. Some looked at it in amazement. The moon frost is showing a grateful face. Chen glanced at him with a grateful expression. I almost admired the 5-body throw. If it weren't for you, the opinion of the top has been reduced by 5 points. I thought you were truly grateful to me. And the Moon Age Frost suddenly turned red and turned evil. What's wrong? Looking at the joy, anger, and sorrow of the Moon Frost walking in color. Chen Yuan is far away. I secretly sighed that this girl is so strong in acting. Immediately, he shook his head and said it was okay. Qianjikan muttered secretly. Root from his face. I can't tell the true feelings in my heart. Is worthy of being a woman who is good at disguise. If it weren't for the hint of favorability. I thought he was grateful and admired for me. Under this acting, the self-esteem of men in general will be greatly satisfied. Then he walked into the trap he had set. He toyed with it between applause. Among the women I met, it seems that there is only Su Lele. You can fight with him for acting. When I thought of me, Chen Yin couldn't help but turn pale. Secretly sighed in his heart that this was a strong enemy. Be cautious. At this time, Yu Lin Shuang was a scumbag attribute to Chen Yuan. It's kind of a new understanding. He looked into the distance. I couldn't help but secretly say this Mr. Yin in my heart. But gave birth to a good skin? It's a pity that it's a beast with a human face and a beast's heart. Yu Ling Shuang had known it for a long time. Chen Yuan's titular mother, Ma Qiumei. There is no fertility at all. When I think of me, Shuang said without frowning. So what is the relationship between the Chen family and Mr. Yin? It's too early to tell. Mr. Bian's identity is too mysterious. A few nights ago, Lin Shutong looked at Wang Mengmeng. And Chen Yuan secretly can't make enemies. And Chen Yuan and this so-called sister. There is no blood relationship at all. You know, my sister who is not related by blood lives together. The eldest son also had a heart-to-heart relationship. People and gods are angry. It's a beast. Changing Spirit Shuang felt that Chen Yuan must be this idea. Immediately, he secretly decided, I'm going to unmask you, and it will break your family. Pay for one's whistle. That's when it happened. Lynn Jila suddenly urged to become a sister. Bandaged. Let's go take a shower and change our clothes. The frost tattoo nodded hurriedly and said okay. Thank you, Miss Lin. Half an hour later, Lin Jila and Lin Shutong finished taking a bath. I came out with a change of clothes. Time? The bodyguards in the room were all a little confused. To everyone's surprise, the appearance of the moon age Frost after changing clothes. Originally, his face was covered in mud. The hairstyle is also messy. The clothes are even more dirty. But now he's tidying up. It's like a jewel washing away lead. Bloom his beautiful side. I saw that he was fair-skinned. Lemon, good teeth. Charming and charming. Show off your wisdom. Clear and beautiful without losing the charm. Elegant with a hint of playfulness. Even Chen Yuan, who is used to seeing big scenes. I couldn't help but be secretly shocked. It's a rare look. And Wang Mengmeng's eyes lit up. Praise Sister Daoyue. You're so beautiful, aren't you? Looking at Lin Jila, who is a completely different style. And Moonling Shuang. Chen Yuan did not go through the secrets, and the enemy did not fall. Although I know that they are good-looking. But this is indeed a pretty. Lin Jila is delicate. The moon age Frost is cold and bright. It's a good match. That's when it happened. Lin Shutong suddenly came to Wang Mengmeng's side. Praise Mengmeng, you are also beautiful. He could see it at a glance. How good is Wang Mengmeng's foundation? Chun Ren's eyes are quite poisonous. Pick a sister. Can choose such a good piece to feed. Then Chen Yuan suddenly came to Lin Shutong. Miss Yu is invited again. Why don't you be my personal secretary? I think you're a good fit. Suddenly, Lin Shutong was a little stunned. Was it so sudden? Immediately, Lin Shutong secretly rejoiced, haha. The cheap man was really seduced by my beauty. Immediately afterwards, Lin Shutong nodded. I agreed directly. I'm not ungrateful. Mr. Chan saved me. I will surely repay you with a sage. And Chen Yuan is filial piety. Don't worry too much. It's not complicated. Totally competent. Then Chen Yuan suddenly raised his eyebrows. Grinning, but before officially hiring. You need to complete a test. A special task. As soon as I heard this, Lin Shutong couldn't help but say strangely, what a special task. He couldn't help but secretly resist in his heart. This lust isn't going to be what I think. The man invited Lin Shutong again, to be your own personal secretary. However, the conditions for the completion of a special task were proposed. Although Lin Shutong, I feel that the dust must be subtly disciplined by myself. But in order not to miss the opportunity to approach him, I had to agree to it. Seeing Lin Shutong agreeing, Chen Yuan hooked his finger at Lin Shutong. Then he turned and left and said, you will know with me. As the boss's personal secretary, naturally there will be some intimate topics. It is inconvenient for outsiders to know. Lin Shutong was mentally ready. That's it. No matter what the test of the dust is, no matter how hard it is, I have to do it successfully. Countless rigorous trainings. All of this, all for the sake of a goal of allegiance to the Li family. Loyal to young master Li Jiamu. When I think of me, Lin Shutong's eyes immediately flashed with a hint of determination. So no matter how brutal the task, even at the expense of my hue, I must pass this test as well. Seize the trust of this scumbag who admits it. and then get closer to his core secret. Then Chen Yuan took Lin Shutong with him. I came to the rooftop on the 3rd floor. Seeing Chen Yuan coming up, he only cared about picking his nose. Lin Shutong couldn't help but wonder a little about the boss. What are the tasks? Tell me. But Chen Yuan ordered in a flat tone. Give me your bank card account number. Immediately, Lin Shutong. I took out the bank card from my body a little shyly. He couldn't help but secretly become alert. Could it be that he had doubts about my identity? Therefore, I want to bind my account through the bank. Inquire about my details. However, Xuanying Lin Shutong sneered in her heart. How could I leave such an omission? It's mine. The reserved bank account information is all innocent. There has never been a large amount of money to be exchanged. I've been prepared for this for a long time. You can't find out. A minute later. Lin Shutong glanced at the SMS prompt on his mobile phone. I was stunned for a moment. This is a message that has arrived. Your bank account with the tail number 7,687 has received 100 million yuan. Even if Lin Shutong has seen a big scene. But looking at this arrival information of up to 100 million, it was also completely fierce. What the hell? That's a billion. Immediately, the brain of the moon cream began to think quickly. Analyze, acknowledge what exactly is behind this move. Is this the money he gave me for my activities? Or test me? Immediately, Lin Shutong asked the boss hesitantly. What do you mean by that? But Chen Yuan showed a playful look, opened his mouth, and said, Xiao. The task I give you is simple. You only need to spend this 100 million in one day. This time tomorrow. If you can spend this 100 million, you won't have a penny left, even if you pass my test. Conversely, if you can't spend it all, even if the test fails, I can't keep you. As soon as this remark came out, Lin Shutong was immediately shocked. He said in a dark surprise without a stunned expression. That's weird, isn't it? A big brother of 100 million. You're too casual. But Lin Shutong thought of what she knew about Chen Yuan. I immediately felt that things were not so simple. No, Chen Yuan is a treacherous and cunning person. There must be deep meaning in doing things. This task must not be easy. But Lin Shutong is still confused now. What the hell is he going to do? Isn't it a trap? Or temptation? What the hell am I going to do? The camp didn't teach that at all. That's when it happened. Chen Yuan suddenly got up and left the road. Today's task has been completed. You can report back to me tomorrow. That's it. Chen Yuan suddenly paused and said yes. You can't tell anyone about it. Otherwise, the assessment will fail. Chen Yuan saw Lin Shutong's sluggish appearance. I couldn't help but secretly rejoice. It's only 100 million, and I'm confused. You're going to really be my secretary. Giving you 20 billion is not going to have a cerebral hemorrhage. I don't know which spy sent it. I really haven't seen a man in the world. Knew that Lin Shutong was a spy, but directly hit him 100 million, and also asked him to spend the money in a day. Light. Chen Yuan threw Lin Shutong 100 million after he threw it. I left the 3rd floor directly. Only Lin Shutong was left alone and messy there. Then Chen Yuan went downstairs quickly. Back on the ground floor, Wang Mengmeng, after hearing footsteps, immediately turned around and looked towards the stairs. Immediately, Wang Mengmeng's face was full of curiosity. Have you finished assigning the task to sister you? Is it convenient to reveal it? And Chen Yuan nodded his head angrily. He said, Children, don't keep asking questions. Then Chen Yuan suddenly asked, right? I'm going out in the afternoon. Yesterday, I told the village party secretary how the land purchase was. And Wang Mengmeng said with a smile to the secretary of Yingdao village, let me talk to my uncles and aunts in the village first. To buy land, people have to be willing to sell it. As soon as he heard that Chen Yuan was going out, Wang Mengmeng was immediately curious. Where are you going in the afternoon? Chen Yuan walked towards the door, while praying beautifully. I'm going to the city in the afternoon. While the two were talking, just as Lin Shutong walked down. After hearing this conversation, I couldn't help but think about it secretly. Is it related to the film and television city project? Come to think of it, Yu Lingshuang immediately became energetic. Right now, everyone went to the north to buy land in the Tianmen new town. The price of land in this area has skyrocketed. But all ignore the east, the hometown of the editor-in-chief in the south corner. Could it be that this house is ostensibly developed on the northern side of the land? In fact, he is secretly buying land in the south. Is it a sound that strikes the west? The place he really wanted to develop wasn't the north side. It's the south side. I couldn't help but sigh secretly at October Lingshuang. It's so cunning and treacherous. And so on all the fried land cow high price. He swallowed the south to $1 billion. I don't know how many people are going to go bankrupt. The wife is separated. Yu Lingshuang thought it through. He couldn't help but sneer in his heart. It's a pity I won't let you be so shadowy. This time, the two neighbors should join forces. Be sure to let yourself reap the consequences. Meanwhile, Wang Mengmeng followed Chen Yuan Dao at the door. Suddenly asked Brother Dao, "Can you take me to the city in the afternoon?" And Chen Yuan was a little surprised to take you. "What are you going to do?" "Vincent." Wang Mengmeng immediately squirmed a little embarrassed. "I want to go buy some new clothes." When Chen Yuan suddenly realized. He couldn't help but mutter, "This girl." It seems that he was stimulated by Lynn Jila's radish head. Look at so many people's clothes. But he wants to dress up and dress himself. After all, Wang Mengmeng is also a big girl. Everyone has a love for beauty. Then Chen Yuan rubbed Wang Mengmeng's head. "Laugh and laugh. No problem. What clothes do you want to buy? My brother has wrapped it for you. He can't secretly make enemies to my Chun Ye's sister. Even if it's the stars in the sky, I'll pick them for you." And yet at this moment, suddenly, Lin Jila's voice came out, "Okay, Miss Ben will be able to take you with you." I saw Lin Jila suddenly rush out of the house. He pouted and said, "You guys go out to play. I didn't even bring Miss Ben. I don't care, I'm going." Xuanying Wenqing couldn't help but think secretly. It's not bad for the little turnip girl to follow the past. At least he has a car. No need for an extra taxi. You can save a lot of money on transportation. Grade Chen Yuan set his sights on the Moon Age Frost. There is also this Moon Old cream that can also be brought over. There's a lot of use. And the Moon Age Frost suddenly had a chill down his spine. What a strange look in the dust. It's weird, disgusting. Not much. Chen Yuan and his entourage came to Tianmen City. Enter 2. One of the largest commercial shopping malls in Tianmen City. Get out of the car. Lin Jila immediately grabbed Wang Mengmeng's hand. "Don't be afraid. Isn't it just shopping in the mall when you raise your head? Come with me." And Wang Mengmeng whispered, "Yes. It's my first time in this kind of place." After Chen Yuan got out of the car, he came to Yu Lingshuang's side. He said, "Whoever you are, you can get out of the car and go with you." Suddenly, Yu Lingshuang was confused. What am I going to do? Chen Yuan, on the other hand, showed a smug smile. "Of course, I'm here to carry our bags. Otherwise, what do you think? You're a secretary now, you know." "Waiter." As soon as this remark came out, Yu Lingshuang immediately exploded. Even the pencil in his hand. They were all accidentally pinched off by him. The man actually let the best beautiful secretary with a face value of up to 9.5 points carry him a bag. The errand was just now. Chen Yuan took Wang Mengmeng with him. Lin Ji, Luo Yu, Lin Shuang, 3 big beauties. I came to the largest shopping mall in Tianmen City. The 3 of them have super high appearances. Along the way, it attracted the attention of countless passersby. And Chen Yuan also expressed his dreams very angrily. Don't be polite to your brother. Say whatever you like. Soon, Wang Mengmeng was shopping for a few clothes. Left and right. Very embarrassed. This one I like very much. But the other one seems to be pretty too. Chen Yuan suddenly spoke. I think these are all very good. Since I have taken a fancy to it, then it's all about mystery. Chen Yuan took out the black card of the system. Heroic to the few pieces he had just chosen. Each style is wrapped in all colors. Swipe my card. The happiness of girls has always been very simple. All you have to do is buy them clothes. Clothes to buy, shoes to buy, bags, cosmetics, jewelry. They'll be happy. Chen Yuan's charm. It's always inadvertently revealed at times like these. The way he swipes his card is particularly handsome and charming. And it's very arrogant. As long as it's the style you like. One for each color. Then the shopping spree began. Chen Yuan is very domineering. As long as Wang Mengmeng likes it. He bought them all. Wang Mengmeng. I've been scared by this way of shopping. It's also too extravagant. He hurriedly stopped the members and said that it was enough, seeing that Chen Yuan was still unsatisfied. Wang Mengmeng hurriedly dissuaded. We bought enough of them today. These clothes are enough for me to wear for a year. It's not the same every day. Chen Yuan was helpless with his hands. How do I feel empty-handed? Immediately, Wang Mengmeng pointed to Lin Shutong and prayed. Of course you're empty. Everything is its sister use. But you don't pity the fragrance and cherish the jade. None of the donkeys in the family carry them for this purpose. Chen Yuan immediately walked behind Lin Shutong, raised eyebrows and Daoyu's secretary. Are you really tired? And Lin Shutong hurriedly laughed and gasped. Not tired. I can stand it. Immediately, Chen Yuan said as he walked. Even if he was tired, he would do it. You don't do it, some people do it. The company is not a charity. You have to prove your worth. As soon as this remark came out, Lin Shutong immediately scolded in her heart. Is this a human language? That's when it happened. Chen Yuan suddenly had an idea, and he commanded the right order. It's a hassle to bring back so many things. Secretary you will go to the city to buy a suite later. Bought under the name of Mengmeng to put clothes. Ling's double tattoo immediately nodded. Tough good boss. I'll go. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. I really treat my mother as an errand runner. Chen Yuan is a dog thief. I will kill you. Then Chen Yuan drove a Bentley luxury car. Wang Mengmeng and Lynn Jila. I came to the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Bentley just stopped. Xiao Quack, who was standing at the door, immediately exclaimed. Who? Bentley to 728 million more than 10 million. There are still people in Tianmen who can afford to drive this car. Looked at Wang Mengmeng and Lynn Jila who got off the car. The two of them almost drooled. These two women are so punctual. It's something we can't catch up with in our lifetime. But after they saw Chen Yuan get out of the car, the old friend whispered and talked about driving the Bentley. How does it look a little familiar? Familiar is familiar. But it's not something we can recognize. This is a Bentley, a big guy of this level. I can't find a few in the entire Tianmen city. It's impossible for us to know such a rich man. That's when it happened. Chen Yuan suddenly walked up to the two. There was a hint of surprise on it. Greeted Wu Wei with the two. Yuqi is really you. The two of them were shocked when they heard this, and Chen Yuan was shocked. You are Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan, you're awesome. Well developed. They all drove Bentleys. But just when Wu Wei and the bath looked envious, a not-so-friendly voice suddenly came to mind, pierced on the spot. The fact that Chen Yuan owns a Bentley luxury car. Drive a Bentley he. You really believe this kid bought a Bentley? The car was not his. Blew up. Gao Fu and Handsome at the class reunion. Actually offered a monthly salary of 5,000 high salary. Chen Yuan was hired to work. Just now, Chen Yuan just drove a Bentley to the door of the hotel. I heard it aside. There was an unfriendly voice. You really believe this kid bought a Bentley? The car was not his. I saw Zheng Biao with a group of girls talking to Chen Yuan. Why are you so vain now? Attend class reunions with a rental car. Can we be sincere? The girls on the side also echoed it. Chen Yuan, you weren't quite honest before. In front of his old classmates, he still slapped his swollen face and became fat. As soon as this remark came out, Wu Wei and Yuqi immediately began to retreat again and again. It seems that the fate of the dust has become stranger. Seeing this, Xuanying couldn't help but sigh secretly and said again, "This kind of drama has to be played out every time this kind of occasion happens. I'm really tired. It is estimated that someone will come out again to pretend to be forced." That's when it happened. A figure, the tall boy, suddenly walked out. Interrupted, "It's been a long time since you've seen each other. Why taunt people as soon as they meet?" Xuanying saw this. Couldn't help but be secretly shocked. Is this Zhang Dongqi? The little radish head in the class who was always bullied. That's a big change. Did you take any medicine? Is there a genetic mutation? Zhang Dongqi appeared as soon as he appeared. Zheng Biao and the others hurriedly surrounded them. "Zhang Xiao, why did you come out to pick up people in person?" "Zhang Dongqi, you have changed so much. Now tall and handsome. Yes, I don't even recognize it." Zheng Biao immediately followed Zhang Dongqi proudly. "Zhang Xiao is tall and handsome. Zhang Xiao's father gave birth to the secretary of the county party committee a few years ago. He is now the county grandfather. It is still a genuine high-quality material of Fudan University in the magic capital. You all looked away before I was born." Zhang Dongqi smiled slightly. With a confident and elegant face, "Don't say that. My father said to keep a low profile when you go out." That's when it happened. Zhang Dongqi's eyes suddenly lit up, looked at Chen with some surprise. Endurance of Wang Mengmeng and Lynn Jila beside him. Subsequently, Zhang Dongqi looked like he wanted to get to know. He said to Chen Yuan, "Oh, these two ladies are a bit of a facelift. Can you tell us about it?" Chen Yuan introduced in an indifferent and generous tone. "You say they. This is my sister Wang Mengmeng. This is my sister's friend Lynn Jila. I'm going to bring the two of them over for dinner today. You won't mind." As soon as this remark came out, all the males in front of the dusty distance, all eyes will be on, gathered on Wang Mengmeng and Lynn Jila, nodding again and again. How could it be? "Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, yes, yes," together lively. When he suspected Zhang Dongqi, his face was straight. He smiled lightly and said that the time was not early. "Let's go into the box. Don't stick to it outside. Look at it." Wang Mengmeng and Lin Jila behind Chen Yuan. Zhang Dongqi couldn't help but secretly marvel that I was in Tianmen. I've never seen anything like it. There were two at once. Who should I choose? Or both? It's distressing. And Chen Yuan saw through Zhang Dongqi's mind at a glance. In the heart of the secret radish head, I want to be my brother-in-law. Father's rich son also walked. Don't pee on it to see if you deserve to eat it. Soon a group of people arrived at the dinner table. It was a slightly rusty atmosphere. It is gradually moderated. There were about 10 people in a box, both men and women. After the dishes are ready, Zhang Dongqi suddenly asked Chen Yuan casually, "What are you going to do after graduation?" Chen Yuan was eating Heisai nonsense, while saying what you really feel in your heart. "I don't think I've thought about it." He was secretly annoyed that I had an endless amount of money to spend, and a bunch of beautiful women like me. Life is like a pool of stagnant water. Life is really lonely like snow. When I think of me, Chen Yuan couldn't help but sigh secretly to such days. It's a bit boring, to be honest. Such boredom. I'll be left alone. Xuanying. Chen Yuan spoke again. It's impossible to go to work. It is impossible to go to work in this life. Mess around every day. Maybe go out and see the outside world. As soon as I heard this, Zhang Dongqi couldn't help but snort secretly, disdainfully. Then Zhang Dongqi smiled. "Friendliness. Why are you so depressed? When you were young and formerly struggled, you want to travel. Do you have money? Why don't you come to our company? Let's go to work and talk about it." Zhang Dongqi suddenly raised his eyebrows. The face was serious enough to say something else. "Come to our company. As an old classmate, I'll give you 5,000 a month." As soon as this remark came out, Lin Jila just took a sip of the drink from his mouth. It squirted out immediately. Dignified yin zone. You kid is going to spend 5,000. Let Mr. Yin go to work in your company. You're a brave man, boy. Blew up. Woman, seeing that Chen Yuan was indifferent at the class reunion, he was ready to take it personally. Just now, Zhang Dongqi said openly at the class reunion, he had to pay a high salary of 5,000 to hire Chen Yuan to work. Suddenly, Lynn Jila was shocked by this astonishing remark. Directly squirted out of the mouth. Lynn Jila, who was choked, hurriedly said sorry. I accidentally choked. Xuanying, Lin Jila frowned. Secretly said in my heart what this brother wants. With a monthly salary of 5,000, let Mr. Yin give you work. Courage is commendable. Chun Rin laughed and politely refused to go to Dongqi. I appreciate your kindness. I still don't want to go to work. When Yin Zhang, Dongqi smiled and shook his head. Okay. Horses of courses. You can't force it. He couldn't help but secretly compare in his heart. The mud can't hold up the wall. If it weren't for your sister's pretty. I'll introduce you to Jobs. What a thing. And the former junior high school class was full of flowers. Suddenly, he asked with curiosity on his face. Dongqi, have you already opened a company? What kind of company did you open? Zhang Dongqi's tattoo immediately waved his hand. But filial piety is nothing. Small fights. I started my own construction company. I'm an architecture major. When I was a freshman, I did some outsourced work. Later, he simply set up his own company. At present, more than a dozen people are already on the right track. The Jingbiao Wenyin on the side immediately raised his eyebrows. Zhang Xiao's company is not a small company. This time, Yin always wants to invest in the film and television city. Zhang Xiao has a lot to do. As soon as I heard this, Zhang Dongqi immediately looked serious. I do have an idea. In this shadow of Tianmen City, bid on the city project. It's a great opportunity to make a name for yourself. As soon as this remark came out, one of the female classmates suddenly couldn't sit still. Ed, it's the one who swiped hundreds of millions of gifts on Shark. After the great bad land of recent investments in various fields. Dongqi, do you know this person? Although Zhang Dongqi has not seen Yin go. But in order to pretend, he laughed and said that there was just a one-sided relationship. Hearing this, everyone immediately began to praise. Miyazaki is awesome. There is a secretary's father. I'm still working so hard. Everyone has seen Mr. Yin. It's not at all the same level as us. Even Chen Yuan's good friend when he was young. I can't help but praise it. The family is big. The business is big. But humble and courteous. The future is limitless. On the other hand, Chen Yuan, this guy who only cares about eating heis. Every day, I think about eating and waiting for death. I'm about to graduate and I don't want to look for a job. I just want to go out and play every day. Everyone couldn't help but have a thought at the same time. I'm afraid that the comparison is really like a puddle of mud, seeing that the crowd kept touting themselves. Zhang Dongqi couldn't help but be secretly proud. Sure enough, it takes a well to return to the hometown. Xiaozhuang is pressing. Immediately frightened these old villagers. For a while, Lin Jila looked at Zhang Dongqi's eyes. It's like looking at a sand sculpture. And Zhang Dongqi also found that Lin Jila was snickering. He couldn't help but secretly speculate. Why is this Miss Lin smiling so weirdly? Does it make sense to me? The first few, Zhang Dongqi said with a strange face, Miss Lin, why are you smiling at me? Lin Jila hurriedly laughed and explained that it was okay. I just suddenly remembered something interesting. He couldn't help but secretly say in his heart that he was really laughing to death. He was ashamed to speak in front of Mr. Yin. It is also necessary to participate in competitive bidding projects. Then Lin Jila turned his head, glared at Chen Yuan. I saw Chen Yuan burying his head and nibbling on pork ribs again. For Zhang Dongqi's crazy pretending behavior. Always indifferent. He couldn't help but say in his heart, Chen Yuan usually befriends all kinds of wealthy families. Financial law. He probably didn't have much interest in slapping his face here. Immediately afterwards, Lin Jila took out his mobile phone. Start typing and sending messages quietly. At the same time, you are secretly proud that you don't want to be slapped in the face. But Miss Ben thought, the man that Miss Ben has her eye on. Shall wild dogs laugh at him? Is the secretary's son awesome? And Chen Yuan, after seeing Lin Jila's performance, I can't help but secretly say in my heart, what bad intentions are this little ghost doing? Laughing so insidiously. At about the same time as the dinner was going on, Zhang Donqi suddenly came to Lin Jila's side. Said Sister Jila, is it convenient to add a contact information? Immediately, Lin Jila looked unhappy and said, why do you want to add it? Followed by Zhang Donqi rushed to Lin Jila. He said, why? Think you're cute. I want to meet the friends you have made. But Lin Jila's answer was extremely faceless. He said with a face on his face and crossed his arms, make friends with me.